2 balls, no strikes to Merrifield. Line drive right field, base hit. South Carolina wins the College World Series.
It was once said that every man's life lies within the present. For the past is spent and done with, and the future is uncertain. Wise words indeed. But in Omaha, the past, present, and future merge, always evolving, ever changing. Yes, what is in the past is gone. You can't touch it, but you'll always feel it. It forever shapes the present. A catalyst for now. And yes, the future is uncertain, unpredictable. Those who fear it are left behind, while those who fear not thrive and create a history of their own. Tonight in Omaha, a new stage for the national championship. More than bragging rights, beyond pride. SEC domination affirmed. South Carolina and Florida in the College World Series Finals. Past, present, and future converge.
Welcome to the NCAA College World Series, presented by Capital One. Tonight, Game 1 of the championship finals. The defending national champion Gamecocks of South Carolina against their SEC rival, the Florida Gators. Each of these teams rolled through its bracket without a loss, even though both were certainly battle-tested by other national seeds and conference rivals. And now we have reached the last 2 standings for the College World Series Finals. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick, Robin Ventura, Oral Hershiser. It's great to have you with us. Well, this year's College World Series turned out to be the SEC Invitational. 3 of the final 4 were SEC teams, and now the 2 finalists, both from that power conference. And to top it off, South Carolina is riding the crest of a 2-year NCAA winning streak, Oral, that has reached 14 games.
14 games. If it gets to 15, they tie Texas for the all-time postseason. If it gets 1 more here at the College World Series, they tie LSU and USC at 10. They're on a roll, and they got a boost. Christian Walker, their number 3 hitter, is in the lineup tonight. He broke his hamate bone against Virginia in his last at-bat. They've got it wrapped. They've got it taped. They're going to pad the bat. They're going to make sure he's okay, and he told Coach, I'm ready to go. That bat has been padded deeply. You know, they're taking care of him, and he is a tough kid. When you're reading the scouting report from Ray Tanner, he says, tough kid, he can compete. Well, he's proven it tonight. He's going to hit third, play first, and his first swing when he came out here and hit public on his field went over the left field wall. Unbelievable power. He is their team leader in home runs, in RBIs, in batting average, and they are so glad to have him in the lineup.
Well, restrictions on that aluminum bat certainly changed the face of college baseball this year. Home runs are down, scoring is down, but at Florida, they still have a power offense.
Oh, they are loaded. They had 68 home runs this year. The new bats didn't affect them hardly at all. And right in the middle of that lineup is Preston Tucker. He's got an electric bat, somebody they count on. He's got 6 RBIs here at the College World Series. He has 20 in the postseason. He is rolling for them. The other guy they need to get going is Mike Zanino, SEC Player of the Year. Sits right behind Tucker in that lineup. They're looking for him for some offense out of him, and they'll be feeling pretty good about it.
When we come back, the first College World Series Finals at this beautiful new ballpark in downtown Omaha.
That's right. That is rolled on its way. Gone.
Welcome back to the College World Series presented by Capital One. Kyle Peterson and Jen Brown will work the dugouts for us tonight. Let's get their feelings right now, starting with the 3-time All-American, Kyle Peterson.
All right, Mike, thank you. You know, the groundwork for this year's Florida club really was set last year right here in Omaha. It's just his 3rd season at Florida. Kevin O'Sullivan brought his first club here to the College World Series. Now, they were talented, but they were young, and Florida lost both games here in Omaha. Fast forward to this year, preseason #1, 7 of the 9 guys in last year's lineup back this year, including tonight's starter, Hudson Randall. They will try to do this week what South Carolina did last year, and that's win the school's first ever College World Series. For more on South Carolina, let's go across the diamond to Jen Brown.
Thanks, Kyle. As we all remember, last year, South Carolina won the national championship with a huge walk-off. And the Gamecock season this year has been really no different.
South Carolina wins the College World Series. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Swinging is a shot, and this ball game is over. Deep to right field, and off the wall. Here comes the run. South Carolina pulls it out in the 9th inning. So the Gamecocks knock off Texas A&M in a dramatic finale. Robert Berry at the plate. They go to third. It's not going to be a time, and they throw it away. That's it. South Carolina's going to win it in the 13th.
As we can see, this team definitely likes to win games in a dramatic fashion. And I think catcher Robert Berry put it best when he told me, he said, look, Jen, this is just how this team is. It would not be South Carolina baseball unless we're getting a walk-off in the bottom of the 13th. Definitely an exciting team to watch and should be no different here tonight, Mike.
Absolutely, Jen, and Ray Tanner has experienced the heartbreak of coming here and losing and the tremendous joy of winning as he did last year. This will be his 5th time in Omaha at the College World Series. Let's take a look at our starting lineups presented by Capital One. Wingo will lead it off. Jackie Bradley Jr. moves into the 2-hole, followed by Christian Walker, Brady Thomas, the third baseman Morales, Jake Williams, shortstop Peter Mooney, Robert Berry, and Evan Marzilli.
And like we said at the top, Christian Walker back in the lineup, the big RBI guy for South Carolina.
Hudson Randall on the mound. This young man has faced South Carolina before in the regular season. He threw a 9-inning shutout. He is not a power pitcher. He throws a lot of strikes. All 4 of his pitches are command pitches. In 116 2/3 innings, only 12 walks. You need to be ready to hit.
Let's take a look at the Gator defense that will be behind Hudson Randall. Thompson, Smith, and Piggott in the outfield. Double play combination is Fontana and Adams. Cody Dent, a defensive specialist. Tucker over at first. And Zanino, who committed 2 errors during the regular season. Just 2. You don't get here without playing good defense. And you always have teams in the finals with a good catcher, a good shortstop, and a good center fielder, and both of these clubs have just that. Scott Wingo to lead it off, hitting .341. And most of these guys have seen him, and they know the first pitch they see might be the best pitch they're going to get.
Yeah, and that's the thing with a guy that's a strike thrower is you want to be aggressive because you know you're going to get strikes. You don't know which one's going to be the best one.
That's a called strike from home plate umpire Mike Conlon. Wingo hitting .400 here in Omaha. The wind not too strong, but what there is blowing straight out. Swing and a miss. Wingo had a 4-for-4 game against Texas A&M, including the walk-off single. He is 0 for 6 since. Got him on a curveball.
Let's do the Tostitos scouting report. And let's do it on the young man on the mound, Hudson Randall. As we've been talking about, he is a strike thrower, but he's not just going to throw a strike with his fastball on the first pitch. He will come right after you with his fastball, his curveball, his slider, his changeup. And when he does that, that gets him into the count and makes him a mystery.
This is Jackie Bradley Jr., who missed 26 games leading up to the College World Series with a torn tendon in his wrist that required surgery. He was a supplemental first-round draft choice of the Red Sox, 40th player taken overall. Just a marvelous athlete. Still learning to be a hitter, I think.
And that comes with age, and you need the talent first, but I think experience it's one of those things you kind of grow into.
Jackie's got the kind of ability that he can out-talent the opposition.
Yeah.
And there are some flaws as a big league hitter. I know Robin would notice things in a swing that he might change, but competition will force him to change. He doesn't have to do that quite yet. He's a tremendous athlete with great eye-hand coordination.
And he's got speed. He's out of Prince George, Virginia, but he is also a strikeout victim here for the second out of the inning.
Well, one of the things you notice right here is that Hudson Randall's got a great curveball going. It's going to be hard to see early in this game. It's hard to pick up that ball. He's got 2 strikeouts from that curveball. And I'd say the first couple innings, we're going to have that on both sides.
And now Christian Walker, the leading hitter on this club in terms of average and power. And he hits the first pitch down the right field line into the corner. Piggott comes up with it in a hurry. Here's the throw, not a time. Christian Walker with a broken hamate bone in his hand. They worked on him before the game, hoping against hope that he might be able to play. It looks like he's still swinging, doesn't he?
Well, they patted the hand, they patted the bat. And you know what? He just tries to put it in play. That wasn't a BP swing. He was actually launching him in BP. He actually was protecting himself right there. The thing I was going to watch is when he goes into second base, keep that left hand in the air. You notice he didn't brace himself at all. He kept it up in the air. You don't want to put any pressure on that hand at all.
Tucker with a dive at first, couldn't flag it down, and now Brady Thomas with a chance to drive in a run here in the top of the first. Breaking pitch right back to the mound, and the easy out after the double. Christian Walker stranded at second. We'll go to the bottom of the first. 0-0 from the College World Series. Perfect night for baseball here at the College World Series presented by Capital One. We'll go to the bottom of the first, and let's take a look at our Capital One starting lineups. For the Gators of Florida, Nolan Fontana will lead it off, then Bryson Smith, Preston Tucker, the first baseman, Mike Zanino, Brian Johnson, Josh Adams at second, Tyler Thompson, Daniel Piggott, and Cody Dent in the 9-hole.
And in the second hole is Bryson Smith, hot during this College World Series, hit 364 with a .500 on-base percentage. Really gets it going for them.
And on the mound, Forrest Kumis. He's a true freshman, hasn't been on the mound for over 20 days. And so worried a little bit about the adrenaline. The side works have been great, but his first start ever as a college player was against these Florida Gators, and he did just fine.
Anything in particular to look for, Oral, if you've had a lot of rest as a pitcher?
Strike one. See if you can get your rhythm early in the count, because you're not going to have the confidence that you can throw strikes, A, because you're not throwing them, and B, because you haven't been out there for a while.
Fontana hitting .296.
Sandy Koufax used to tell me, see how easy you can throw hard when you haven't been on the mound? Find your rhythm.
Did you understand that?
Oh, yeah.
That fastball poured in there 1-2. Fontana, sophomore out of Winter Garden, Florida. In the air, Jackie Bradley drifting back. He'll make the catch, 1 out. If it stays in the park, this kid can run it down, that's for sure. Here's how the Gamecocks will line up on defense, with Bradley in center, flanked by Williams and Marzilli. Mooney had a big error the other night. Wingo at second, Morales and Walker at the corners, and Barry behind the plate. Now Bryson Smith pops it up foul territory. Walker all off and collided with Wingo, and the ball drops.
Well, it's the second baseman's responsibility to come over and call him off. And this ball goes up. We have a lot of foul territory here at the new ballpark. And the wind's bringing this back. And as a first baseman, you're just taught to go over there. You don't even have to call it, because when that second baseman comes over and calls it, you just get out of the way.
It's very easy to be distracted with another player right in your grill. And that's what happened on that one. You won't have a chance to get this one. And how often do you see a guy get another life and then deliver?
Well, I know as a hitter, you feel like you get a whole nother life, and it's almost like having another at bat in your head. You know, you might get 3 at bats a night. It feels like you almost get 4 just because you get to come back. But he's been hot in this World Series. He's been getting on base. This is just a nice compact swing. Kevin O'Sullivan talking about him breaking down his swing to shorten it, and just proof of it right there.
Before that base hit, Bryson Smith had been hitting .472 in the NCAA tournament. Now Tucker, the power guy in this lineup. And you'll see Kumas try to be very careful with him. 16th round draft choice. And he doesn't need the wind blowing out to put one in the stands, but he's got it tonight.
Yeah, now you're getting to that part of the lineup where you get the combination of batting average and power and all of those things combined. It's kind of, you run a gauntlet here for 3 or 4 hitters going through Tucker, Zanino, and Johnson.
15 home runs this year for Tucker in a season where a lot of teams have 4 or 5, and that's it. He drives Bradley back a few steps. He'll take it 3 strides shy of the warning track. Second out of the inning. There's no way it's going out to center field in this ballpark. Two outs for Zanino, who's hitting .366, 18 home runs, 66 driven in. Remarkable numbers. Swung through that one. 0-1 with 2 outs and a runner aboard. Zanino from Cape Coral, Florida, the SEC Player of the Year as a sophomore. But he just hasn't hit out here. Runner goes. Got it. What a throw by Barry. Right on the money, caught stealing. We said you had to have a good catcher, a good shortstop, and a good center fielder.
The NCAA Baseball Championships. Tonight makes all those months of work and practice seem worthwhile. And right now in towns and cities across the United States, there are youngsters of all ages who are working toward the day when they too can be a part of the team that is crowned National Collegiate Baseball Champions.
Baseball is all about history, and we are writing a new chapter this year at the downtown stadium, TD Ameritrade Park, here in Omaha, the new home of the College World Series after so many great years at Rosenblatt. We'll start the second with Adrian Morales, a .282 hitter out of Hialeah, Florida. Each team with a base hit in the first inning.
Morales is one of those team leaders, an emotional guy, described as a winner by Ray Tanner. He's great in the clubhouse with the guys.
Two balls and a strike to Morales. Hudson Randall, 12 walks in 117 2/3 innings this year. Beautiful play at third, not in time.
Well, this is just one of those plays as an infielder. You don't get a good read on it. You try and get that in-between hop, and it just rolls away enough that you don't get the guy at first. Right there, he tries to play in the middle of his body and doesn't get enough on that throw.
It's a really beautiful play at third, because I was expecting it out of Dent, because he's such a great third baseman, has been all year long.
It's hard to pick up the ball for batters and fielders already in this game.
Williams takes a pitch in for a called strike. Left fielder out of Greer, South Carolina, who started at Wofford and transferred.
He was a teammate of Michael Roth in high school. The pitcher will start for South Carolina, their ace tomorrow. The guy that was the World Series hero last year. There he is. He's a short reliever that ended up throwing a tremendous amount of innings for them in the World Championship game. Almost played first base tonight. If Christian Walker wasn't able to go, he was taking grounders. Robin was telling me a story about how he used to take grounders all the time when he was in the bullpen every day, shagged.
He still does. Normally he takes throws at first base during batting practice. Today he was actually taking ground balls, but just a regular thing for him.
Morales goes, and it's a fly ball into right center field. And fighting the sun, Piggott. Look, he was having all sorts of trouble with it. Finally made the catch after locating the ball. And Morales has to retreat to first.
Well, really, with the wind, you know, you go up there, you're running through the shadows, you're looking up. He's looking in center field for Smith. Once you lose track of that ball, it's hard to pick it back up, and it keeps drifting on him, which makes it even more difficult when the wind's blowing out.
You could see him gesture to Smith like, I haven't found it yet.
Need a little help?
Now Peter Mooney, the shortstop, who they have in the 7th hole tonight, takes a curveball from Randall for a called strike. Morales down at first has 7 stolen bases this season, which is tied for first on the club. Foul tipped at the plate.
It's not many years, Mike, that you've got to see the #1 team in the country against a defending champion.
No, and there have been 5 different teams that have been #1 this year. Sort of shared that distinction all season. Florida was the preseason choice by just about everybody. Kevin O'Sullivan did manage to win more games than any Florida team ever. This ball into right center field. Smith is there, second out.
8 teams in the last 30 years have gone back-to-back to the finals. And 5 have won it, not in the last 30 years, but ever back-to-back.
Oregon State was the last, 06 and 07. But usually you see a team that's going to win the championship and so many guys are drafted and they're gone and you've got to replenish and you just can't come back. But this ball club has managed to make it back again, and a lot of people think they're the best team in the field coming in.
They have a saying on this South Carolina team, win anyway. They've been through a lot of adversity.
Robert Berry stands in with 2 outs and a runner aboard. That's a called strike. .288 his season's average with 3 hits out here in Omaha. Randall steps off.
Yes, he did.
Tried to check the swing and couldn't. 0-2.
I know Robin didn't think he went, and as a pitcher, I think he did.
1-1.
Once you go beyond parallel, you're pretty much a dead duck.
Well, the SEC Player of the Year, when he takes that equipment off and we come back, he will lead off. Mike Zanino leading off. Come on back and see if the power shows up.
Welcome back to the NCAA College World Series, presented by Capital One. Sun setting on TD Ameritrade Park, and the shadows will be a problem, and the bright sunlight for the outfielders a problem for about another 45 minutes. We're tied going to the bottom of the second. And Mike Zanino, the sophomore from Cape Coral, Florida, will lead it off. He's had a tremendous year, but has struggled out here in Omaha. Of course, it's such a small sample that you hesitate to call it a slump. He's 2 for 12.
I know we talk about Zanino and not getting it going yet, but like you said, when we're talking about 3 games,
yeah,
you know, it's just one of those things that he's getting acclimated at being at the series, and you got good pitching.
If you're a pitcher facing this guy, you love to see the 2 for 12 and hope you can keep it that way.
Well, you're either excited or not very, because it ain't going to last very long.
There's Jackie Bradley Jr. in center field, the right fielder, everybody trying to shade their eyes with a glove. It's even tough in the stands. Brian Johnson and Josh Adams scheduled to hit in this inning. Missed inside. And it's 3-2 to Zanino leading off the second inning. Struck him out.
Freshman that hasn't been on the mound for over 20 days, and he throws a 3-2 breaking ball. Starts to look like a fastball that could be on the outside corner, and then breaks away. It was a little slider. Zanino, sometimes when a guy's in a slump, you don't walk your way out of it, so you realize they're going to be swinging the bat. You make something look like a strike, throw a ball.
Here's Brian Johnson, a 303 hitter, the sophomore from Cocoa Beach. If you haven't followed us since the beginning, Florida beat Texas and then beat Vanderbilt twice to win their bracket 3-0 and advance to the College World Series Finals. The numbers on Johnson, he's also 2 for 12 out here. Kumas misses low, 2-0. This is the first of a best of 3 in the championship series. The College World Series Finals from Omaha between SEC rivals, South Carolina and Florida. These teams played 3 times this year. And South Carolina in Gainesville won 2 of the 3. That was back in March. Really didn't have a whole lot of bearing on this one, does it?
Yeah, I mean, even though they played each other, when they first said that, you're like, you know, that's so long. It might as well have been last year.
Two to Johnson. Breaking pitch in the air to left. Williams, and 2 gone. Our coverage of the College World Series presented by Capital One will continue tomorrow night on ESPN. Hope you'll be with us at our 8 p.m. Eastern starting time. Game 2 of the finals. Florida against the defending national champion Gamecocks of South Carolina. And if you want to keep up on all the stats from the College World Series, just log on to NCAA.com. It's the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. 2 out, nobody on. Josh Adams at the plate. The senior second baseman hitting .327. Shown some pretty good power too. 6 home runs this year. That one hit hard down the left field line, but foul. He's going to have to rub some dirt on it. I think she got nailed in the left hand.
Well, there is a hand specialist from South Carolina here.
And he's asking if presumably her husband gets some treatment down here for her. But the husband's supposed to reach out and catch that.
Sorry, I missed that. I was busy getting out of the way.
But I got the ball, honey. That'll make it feel better. 2 balls, 2 strikes. In the Florida second inning, no score. On the corner, strike 3 call. The second strikeout of the ball game for Forrest Pumas, and we have played 2.
Little breaking ball. You get 2 in 1 inning. You haven't pitched in over 20 days, but you're pitching in the College World Series.
It's pretty simple, really. You take the raw ingredients, shape them, mold them, create what's meant to be. Culmination of thought, planning, ability, strength, and heart. Put it all together, and you have a champion.
That would look nice in your trophy case, and that's what these guys are fighting for. South Carolina already has one from last year. Florida trying to get one, and we'll go to the top of the 3rd in a scoreless game. And the number 9 man will lead it off, Evan Marzilli. He is the left-handed batting right fielder. Out of play down the left field line.
Marzilli's actually been the leadoff guy in their 3 games here in typical Ray Tanner fashion. He decided to mix it up a little bit. He's batting 9th today.
He's a .294 hitter.
Yes, he did.
Tried to bunt his way on, stabbed at it and missed. A ball and 2 strikes. Trying to get on ahead of the top of the order. Scott Wingo and Jackie Bradley are next. Ball lined to left and almost in his tracks is Tyler Thompson. Kyle, what have you seen so far from Hudson Randall?
Well, he's been good, and really we've seen a lot of what we've seen the entire year from Randall, and that's the ability to pound the strike zone. These are his first pitches so far. But watch the location. Really, 1 ball catches the middle of the plate, but other than that, breaking ball, breaking ball. That's 3 in a row that we've seen. And that's what separates him, is the ability to throw not just the first pitch strike, but the location, and both fastballs and sliders. We've seen him do it pretty consistently so far.
You know, the numbers are remarkable on pitchers that get ahead. They give up so far fewer hits than guys who fall behind in the count and then have to come in with a room service fastball or something on 3-1. As Wingo grounds out to first.
The whole thing about getting ahead, Mike, is it's an information exchange between the pitcher and the hitter, and the pitcher has to give up the information first. So you might as well make him pay for it. If you're going to give him the information of how hard you throw or what you're going to start him out with, or if you're going to throw a breaking ball or not, make him pay with a strike.
Why, you want to get one of those weekly newsletters, you got to sign up for it, right?
Exactly. They don't give you any information usually. You know, when they get in the box, their stance, how aggressive they look. They give you more when they swing the bat.
2 outs, nobody on for Jackie Bradley Jr.
Well, as a hitter, you like a guy that you want to see all his pitches in the first at bat. So you don't want to take too many pitches because he doesn't throw ball. He's not going to waste any pitches. So you got to swing. I'd rather have you see everything.
He's already struck out 3. This can be a tough play because Bradley can run, but he got him. Nice job by Hudson Randall to come off the mound toward the third baseline, pick it up and fire to get a fast runner.
And this is a perfect throw to first base. You see that ball tailing back in, just not fast enough.
Enjoyed the music of Jason Aldean all week. Bottom third of the order will hit now for the Gators. Tyler Thompson, Daniel Piggott, and Cody Dent. Thompson hitting .274 this year. He's out of Tequesta, Florida. He was a late round draft pick of the Nationals this year. Doesn't look like the 22 days off has bothered Kumas much, Will.
No, he's got really nice rhythm, and he's confident with a few different pitches.
Jammed him with a fastball there and falls behind 3-0.
His body type is a little on the thick side. He's got really strong legs and strong shoulders and upper back. He looks like the type of kid that would stay healthy because he's got great brakes for that arm speed.
There's a called strike, 3-1.
I don't think any pitcher on their staff can really complain about time off, how many pitches you're going to throw tonight, what you're used to. I think just the way their staff is, you know, the odder the better.
Lost him. First walk issued by Kumas. The FIFA Women's World Cup continues on ESPN. Tuesday morning, Group C takes the field at 8:45 a.m. Eastern, Colombia against Sweden. Then at 11:45 Eastern, Hope Solo in the United States against North Korea. Both games are also available online at ESPN3.com and on your phone. That's all tomorrow from the FIFA Women's World Cup. Daniel Piggott hitting in the Atoll. He's one of the hottest hitters in the entire College World Series field. 341 on the season, 412 in the NCAA, and 400 here in Omaha. That's foul outside third.
Threw that ball up there in the bleachers. I thought we were going to check in and see how the lady was that got hit. Almost in that same area, wasn't it?
I believe she was a little further out and a little further up. But she is
on the phone
hopefully getting treatment.
She took the ball with her, I think. I don't see it.
He doesn't seem to be concerned.
No, I think he just found out he's on television.
I hope she's doing fine.
1-2 to Piggott. Back to the mound, has a play at second, thinks, well, I better get this sure out, and does. He was off balance. That could have been a dicey throw.
I'll tell you what, that's pretty good savvy for a freshman playing in the College World Series. Hasn't been on the mound for 20 days. He gets a ball, and here's one, and it just gets him in the back of the head like, yep, you're right. But the freshman aggressiveness and passion was like, maybe wrong foot this one to second.
If anything, he needed to gather himself, you know, gather your feet and then throw. And, you know, luckily for him, because he didn't, he just take the out.
Exactly.
Now here's Cody Dent, who won the third base job after being used primarily as a defensive replacement. Hitting only .211 with limited at-bats, only 76. And yes, he is the son of Bucky, who was out here this week to watch his son play.
I think Forrest Kumis doesn't have to think back very long. The game with Virginia, there was 2 throws by a pitcher off balance
that cost them.
The reason why they're even here.
Back-to-back plays in the 13th inning. It's a heartbreaking way to exit. But you're right. Those were key plays on throws that should not have been made. Did they call a ball?
Pass ball.
No, pass ball.
And I almost thought it hit him, but it was just a rattling around in the web of the catcher's glove that sounded like there was a double hit.
Yeah, and those are weird as a runner because you don't go. Unless it bounces, you really don't get a good look at it, so you get a late start.
Well, now a runner at third. And Dent with a chance to deliver. That's down the left field line. Williams will make the catch. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's not going to be in time. And Florida on a sacrifice fly by Cody Dent takes the lead.
Talking about a guy that just executes. All you need is a fly ball deep enough to score Thompson, and it's just out of the reach of Williams to be able to get him at home. 20 feet out there that just gives you that cushion as a runner. You know you're going to make it.
They have ruled what we thought was a pass ball as a wild pitch, and that's what got the runner to third and allowed Dent to drive him home with the sac fly. That one's in the dirt from Kumis to Nolan Fontana, who flied out his first time up, and Tyler Webb already getting going in the bullpen. Two balls and no strikes to Fontana with a run home, 2 out, nobody on here in the third inning. And you really can't afford to let a game get away from you out here the way you used to, because you could still come back, get 5 runs in an inning playing long ball. Can't do it anymore. Somebody gets a 3-run lead, that might be enough to beat you.
Yeah, you've really got to watch it. This has come down to a game of pitching and defense. The great pitching that has come here to the College World Series this year. We've really seen, you know, that this is the way this gets to play. A little more small ball, a lot more sacrificing, hitting, run.
Yeah, you're just not going to get the guy leaning out over hitting a home run, and you know we haven't seen a lot of hit by pitches either. Usually you see that combined with the ball flying out of here, you get the big scores.
The good news for both of these teams is they're both 3-0. They haven't had to tire out their pitching staff.
Yeah, not at all, especially South Carolina. This is only the 5th pitcher we've seen for South Carolina the whole tournament, or at least here in Omaha.
3-0 to Fontana.
I think South Carolina just chooses not to use any more pitchers. You had Price go as an extended closer the other night.
Yeah, when your closer pitches
95 pitches,
7 innings.
Yeah, it was a long time.
3 balls and a strike, and this ball on a line caught by the right fielder Evan Marzilli. And a base on balls and a wild pitch makes a difference.
And due up on the top of the 4th, Christian Walker, the big RBI guy in the middle, could take one out of here.
Outside the ballpark, this beautiful statue that they moved from Rosenblatt. And on the right-hand side, Brian O'Connor, the head coach at the University of Virginia, is cast in bronze. He would rather be here in person. Eliminated the other night.
I don't know if that does him justice. He's not that stiff as a person.
Very nice. Christian Walker will lead it off. The young man who they really didn't expect to play at our meeting this morning. They were just, well, we got to get it done somehow without him. And he took treatment during the day, took batting practice. Obviously said he could play and comes up in doubles on the first pitch he sees in the ball game.
And not too many guys go on the 12-hour DL, but that's pretty much what he was.
He wasn't day to day, he was hour to hour.
He was definitely hour to hour. He was minute to minute before batting practice tonight.
Was he had 3-0 in the count from Hudson Randall, who has surrendered only 1 hit so far and fanned 3 through 3 innings. And if you expect Hudson Randall to walk him, think again. He's given up 12 all year. All year. Got to hit your way on. This to deep short. Fontana got it. Walker, you see that wrist. Trying to take care of that and make sure he doesn't aggravate the injury.
It's real good body language. I know he didn't want to make an out. He wasn't grimacing. He wasn't flexing his, making a fist on his left side like there was some stinging or bees over there. So if he hurt on that swing, he did a good job disguising it. You can see everybody checking on him.
Yeah, I think your first at bat, you can have adrenaline running. After that, it starts wearing off, and he got jammed a little bit on that one, so you could sense if he was going to be hurt or not.
This one back to the mound, and Randall will throw out Brady Thomas with the second out. Tomorrow we'll be revealing the 2011 Lowe's Senior Class Award. That award celebrates the loyalty of seniors that honor their 4-year commitment to their university. The Senior Class Award recognizes these student athletes for their great achievement during competition and in the classroom while they stay in school. 2 outs, nobody on. Randall has set down 8 in a row, but not 9. As Adrian Morales delivers with a base hit. Had to get Jake Williams up with 2 out and a runner aboard. South Carolina trailing by a run here in the 4th.
South Carolina trying to get their 3rd national title ever. Baseball team last year, women's track and field in 2002. This would be number 3. You Gator fans, we really don't have time to go down your list.
No.
I think it's been like 9 in the last 6 years, maybe, or something like that, just in the last 6.
It's one of the great, well-rounded programs in the country.
I think that's one of the things Kevin O'Sullivan, you know, there is a certain amount of pressure that comes with that of being at Florida, even though the baseball team hasn't had that. But, you know, when you have 26 national championships, you know, there is a certain amount expected. And he has gotten here. He came to the World Series last year. Now he's in the championship game.
Their first one was as far back as 1968 men's golf. And then their latest one was 2011 women's tennis, men's indoor track and field.
Well, Kevin O'Sullivan certainly progressing, has a program going in the right direction. As you said, he was here last year. Now he's in the finals. Only one more step to take.
It was interesting to read some of the players' quotes about their experience last year and how they really admitted they were nervous. They were a little overwhelmed, that the situation really did surprise them. And I think that's the first step of dealing with this pressure and really making a change in the way you go about your business when you get here, is admitting it instead of having those quotes where it's, no, I got it, you know, it wasn't that big a deal. To come right out and say, yeah, I had some issues dealing with the pressure and being here in Omaha.
Well, when they don't admit it, they're not telling the truth. It is a big deal, and everybody feels the pressure.
And then it becomes the white elephant in the room or in your soul,
Sure.
and you don't know how to get rid of it. And they released it by saying, yeah, this is different, and we feel more prepared this year and what to deal with.
Over and over, we see teams come out here for the first time and not do well simply because they don't know what to expect. There's not a stage this big in college baseball. Line to center field. And taken care of by Bryson Smith. A single and a runner left on base. Tucker coming up when the Gators bat in the bottom of the fourth. Look at that sky. A lot nicer now. That was a nasty storm that came in here the other night when the Gators were playing against Vanderbilt. And we do get some weather out here. And the last thing that the people in Omaha and surrounding environs need is more water. They got enough of that stuff. This ball is fouled back. Off the bat of Bryson Smith. First time up, he singled. And has the only base hit so far for these Gators. That's on the corner. The Missouri River has really taken its toll, and everyone around here hoping the levees will hold. It's really worse across the river in Iowa. People getting a lot of groundwater in their basements now, and the water continues to rise as it's coming down after historic snows north of here in Minnesota and North and South Dakota, and that stuff is melting, and the Missouri River is on a rampage. Fastball outside, 1-2 to Bryson Smith. This is the heart of the order, 2, 3, 4 with Smith, Tucker, and Zanino.
You know, you come in as a freshman, and this is where you really prove your mettle, is that you're going to be able to be a starting pitcher when you go around the order the second time, the third time. And they bring you in because you have a great arm.
Popped up. Barry doesn't have a play.
What you really work towards is being able to command your pitches and then pitch through a game and through the lineup multiple times. And you grow your freshmen. You know, a lot of times they start in the midweek, you know, and they start in the bullpen, and they show that maybe I can get through the order as a long man, and then they get maybe a spot start. When he finally got into the rotation, it was against these Florida Gators, and he did very well. He went 6 innings and gave up, I think, a run. It was unearned. So he's thrown back into the fire here in the College World Series. Ray Tanner has a lot of confidence in him. Even though they haven't pitched many people, they haven't needed to. So he's been 5th on the depth chart as far as 2 starters, a couple bullpen guys, and then himself.
Tried to check his swing and appeal, and he did not. Another strikeout for Kumis, and Bryson Smith is gone. Definitely past parallel.
I think one of the things that Kumis has done this year that, you know, Ray Tanner talked about is he's really gotten lefties out and has really commanded his changeup and gotten control of it to be able to do that. He's going to get the righties out, but really going after those lefties is what's the difference maker for him. And that pitch right there.
Little 83-mile-an-hour changeup.
Tucker is 0 for 1. Pops this one up. Wingo, foul territory, called off by the right fielder Marzilli, and he makes the catch.
And just like we talked about on the play earlier in the game, when Wingo goes over and calls off Christian Walker, Marzilli is actually the guy now that has control of this ball right here. He has the responsibility to call everybody else off. So Wingo has to clear out of the way. As soon as he hears Marzilli call that, you can see that he peels off. And usually the first baseman can help with that and also call out who's supposed to have it.
Now Zanino with nobody on, up and in, nearly hit him. Zanino, a strikeout victim, his first time up, 1 of 3 for Forrest Kumis. When it's just been one of those weeks so far for Zanino. This is his 4th game. He struck out 5 times, only has 2 hits. Pops this one up. Wingo calling for this one and has it. Ray Tanner will join Jen Brown when we come back. We have played 4 full. Florida on top, 1-0. 1-0 Gators after 4. Let's get down to the field level. Jen Brown with Ray Tanner. Jen?
Thanks, Coach. Christian Walker was a game-time decision for you guys because of that hamate fracture. What made you decide to start him?
He said he could play, so I put him in there. It's miraculous that he's in there. I didn't think he'd be able to play, but our doctors came in, took a look at him, worked on him, and got him in there.
Obviously a good decision coming up with that double there. Now your freshman pitcher, Forrest Kumis, how do you feel he's done in handling the pressure today?
Well, he's been a little erratic, but he hasn't been so bad. That 1 walk led to a run, but he seems a little more comfortable right now. He's got to make some pitches against this Gator club.
All right, thanks, Coach. Mike?
All right, Jen, thanks very much. Ray, thank you. And here's how they have done through 4 innings. They've both been really good.
Yeah, Forrest and Hudson have been solid. Just that one little blemish on the South Carolina side. But I tell you, 57 pitches, 43 pitches. They've been attacking the strike zone. Only the 1 walk between the 2 of them. We've got a nice solid ball game going.
Bottom third of the order, Mooney, Berry, and Marzilli to hit for South Carolina. In game 2, the Gamecocks will be the home team. If there is a game 3 on Wednesday, they will also be the home team in that ball game. So they got the advantage there. But Florida right now with a 1-0 lead in the 5th. Mooney flied out to center field the first time up. Had him out in front. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He's got a good changeup going right here. He fell behind 1-0. 2 fastball counts even when he gets to 1-1. And the ball is just great arm speed and great movement on that at the end. Like for a 3rd one in a row. Robin, does that glare off the center field, the hitter's backdrop, does that get you as a hitter?
Yeah. I mean,
he's not in the shadows anymore.
Well, you're trying to square. You're really trying to pick up the ball, and there's just a slight glare, but it's hard to pick up the baseball because it almost becomes a shadow in the front of it.
Struck him out. The 4th strikeout of the ball game for Hudson Randall. It has been tough out here in Omaha on batters. 241 batting average for all teams combined. It's the lowest since 1974. The ERA is the best since 1972 for the same reason. And we have had more triples than we have home runs, 8-7. This one's popped up, and Tucker over to make the play, and Berry is retired.
You know, the first thought at home might be that the dimensions here are different than Rosenblatt. They're not. They're same. Rosenblatt, as far as direction of this field, the home plate would be in right field, but we've really had a fair amount of wind in and wind out here, even compared to the Blatt. So really is coming down to great pitching, and then the bat specifications going down where there's, you know, less trajectory off these bats and a smaller sweet spot.
And I don't think you get as much help from the wind here as we did at Rosenblatt. This stadium has a higher profile and a scoreboard out and right that may tend to block some of the wind. So I think they got some help at Rosenblatt where they're not getting it here.
Yeah, it was up on a hill, and it was just sitting up there. So any ball that you hit in the air automatically carried. And I think Mike's right. We're so high behind home plate now that we just don't get that help as hitters that we really want. And I know Oral likes it this way, but as hitters, I'm sticking up for everybody. We don't.
You could actually walk from Rosenblatt down here to TD Ameritrade Park if you wanted to, just a shade over 3 miles. But it is a completely different feeling. That was a neighborhood ballpark like Wrigley or Fenway. And this is a modern downtown facility. A ball and 2 strikes, another strikeout as Marzilli goes down swinging. The 5th strikeout for Hudson Randall. And Kevin O'Sullivan will join us when we come back.
Bottom of the 5th here in Omaha, Florida, leading game 1 of the finals here, 1-0. And Kevin O'Sullivan with me. We've seen plenty of Hudson Randall this year, but he's as good as he has been the entire season. From your standpoint, what's made him so good tonight?
Well, he's mixing early in the count, and he's locating all of his pitches. He's got all 4 going tonight, and it's a really tough lineup. He's, obviously from South Carolina, so he's doing a nice job.
All right, offensively, 1 run, but just 1 hit up to this point against Kumas. What's the key offensively against him?
Well, the key is he's throwing the ball pretty good. I think he's matching Hudson pitch for pitch. We just got to do a better job of trying to get a leadoff man and try to generate some offense.
All right, Kevin, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. I think South Carolina's already seen as much of Kumas as they can stand. Randall at 14 innings pitched, no runs, no walks. He's fanned 9. And this is a really good hitting ball club. Brian Johnson will lead it off. Gators trying to get something started here in the 5th. Johnson now hitting .301. Sophomore from Cocoa Beach, Florida. Fastball is low, 2-0.
Got a little Jack McDowell look there, maybe a little Jared Weaver.
On the mound, he looks a lot like Jack. I mean, just stature-wise.
Back through the middle and into center field for a base hit for Brian Johnson. ESPN2's coverage of Wimbledon continues Tuesday with ladies quarterfinals. Be there as the top players in the world swing for the championships on the grass of Wimbledon. The ladies quarterfinals on ESPN2 Tuesday at 7 a.m. and 1 Eastern. I always wanted to play a match on grass just for chuckles. Never got the chance.
Looks a little slippery.
Yes, it does. Trying to sacrifice back to the mound. Kuma slips and then throws over to first. Thought about second, but the sacrifice by Josh Adams works and puts Johnson at second base.
Yeah, for the 2nd time in a row, he gets a ball around the mound and has thoughts of going to second base. You can see right here this bunts down the 3rd base side, does a nice job of getting over there, has turned to go to second, and his back foot slips. Has enough poise just to get that out. You can see right, I mean, he's lucky he didn't go all the way down, and everybody's safe.
Also lucky not to hurt himself. It's the 12th sacrifice this season for Adams. That leads the ball club. And now puts a runner in scoring position for Tyler Thompson. Fan made a nice catch. Thompson walked and scored his last time up. And a wild pitch was a big part of that. Got him to 3rd before Dent drove him home with a sacrifice fly.
It gets late early here. When it's a best out of 3 and it's the 5th inning, it feels like the end of the game already, especially in these low-scoring games.
Time out, time out.
Yeah, he might have. The gentleman who caught that ball in the foul ball, caught it with a plate of food in his hand. It's good to see that lady back after her injury. She's icing it down.
Well, good for her. Nothing's going to keep her from watching her Gamecocks play for another national championship. That ball's foul at the plate.
Or him, apparently.
She had to go get her own ice.
Yeah, like it doesn't look like he's going to not watch either.
Yeah, that's the gentleman out there that made the catch in the blue shirt on the right. And that same plate of food still had the food in it.
His companion describing how he did it.
It almost looks like Sean Estes.
I think it is.
It is? Should look like Sean. It is. He's waving at us.
He was a good fielding pitcher.
I was going to say, if they've got the volume on in the... He didn't catch that well, even with a glove.
1-2 to Tyler Thompson. Runner at second, 1 out.
I became a San Francisco Giant. Sean wore 55 the year before and had a great year. And I got to the Giants and they gave me 55 off his back. And he felt so bad about it. He wanted that number. I gave it back to him, and I took 53 in honor to Don Drysdale. It was the only year I didn't wear number 55.
Well, good for you.
Well, he's a great kid. Plus, I think
Thompson swung over the top, and he's gone.
He was asking for a Rolex and a Mercedes or something, too. No.
Here's your jacket.
Little slider.
Foul tip that Kevin O'Sullivan's going to go out, and you can see it change directions right there.
And if it wasn't caught cleanly, it's caught off the ground.
Looked like it hit the dirt.
That might be the hardest play. I mean, really, for an umpire to see that, whether you're at first base, third base, you know, you're expecting the home plate umpire to get that. It's very difficult. They just kind of got to go by what they think.
A lot of times
they can't possibly see it.
Yeah. A lot of times the home plate umpire might ask for help, and he's going to right here. He can ask for a conference.
Because that is completely blocked by the catcher's body. Unless he can go by the sound, that's the only hope he has.
A little slider down and in. See the foul tip, it changes direction, and then the ball hits the turfus. The rebuttal now, Mike.
Well, now Ray Tanner going to come out and say, hey, you got it right the first time. But I know the South Carolina fans are not going to be happy, but that was certainly the right call. They got it right because of the conference. And hats off to the home plate umpire who's going to say, I'm not going to let my ego stand in the way of this. I'm going to go out and get the call right. I'll get some help. Can you hear it? There you see the ball change directions, but it happens so fast, it's probably one sound.
And you don't get as much of that ping because there's a little plastic cap on the end. It's a little softer sound.
This ball to center, Jackie Bradley Jr. The runner cannot advance, 2 out. So Pickett got another chance and flies out anyway. And now Dent, who delivered the only RBI in this ballgame, was sacrificed. Or now Pickett, excuse me.
South Carolina fans gave a really hearty round of applause there for what they thought would be the 4th out of this inning at some point.
Time out.
Pickett 0 for 1 on a fielder's choice. Fouled out of play.
Your glare is almost gone, Robin.
Fastball popped up. Foul territory. The shortstop Mooney is over there to make the catch. And the inning is over. We have played 5 full. Game 1 of the College World Series Finals. It's 1-0.
If anybody had it hitting the ground, they'd have come to me already. And I would tell you that I've only got one sound going into the glove. I explained to him that if you guys had a foul ball, you'd have been there a long time ago. But anybody got it hitting the ground?
Well, do you have a foul tip?
Yeah.
Okay, the ball hit the ground.
Ball hit the ground?
Ball hit the ground.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Well, that was the explanation from home plate umpire Mike Conlon. He never gave a foul tip indicator to his fellow umpires, so they had no reason to say, okay, the ball hit the ground after a foul tip, so it's no strikeout, until he went out to the conference to tell him that that's what the situation was.
Yeah, usually in a play like that, the home plate umpire will rub the top of his hand,
right,
like foul tip, and then he'll give an out sign like strikeout, and then that's the end of it. And then somebody might come in and say, no, 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 that ball hit the ground, and they would wave it off. But the original foul tip strikeout signal was never given.
Again, I just like the fact that they all got together. I mean, you could see the ball changes direction right there, and the spin slows down, and it hits the ground. But at least they all got together.
You got it right.
And yeah, and that's really what you want in the end.
Tip of the hat.
And Colin made another good point. I've only got one sound. That's because it happened so fast in a fraction of a second. You're not going to be able to distinguish between the two. But you're right. They got it right, and that's all that counts. 2 balls and a strike to Scott Wingo, leading off the 6th. Wingo would like to keep one of these streaks alive. He's 21 in a row reaching base. They need a runner. Down 1-0 in the 6th, and they have had virtually no success against Hudson Randall.
Well, I think Randall has done a great job early in the counts of not just throwing a fastball down the middle, because South Carolina's waiting for it early in the count. But you have no earned runs in 14 innings and a guy that's always around the plate, and that's not a usual thing, and you don't normally see that.
And that is his 6th strikeout of the ball game. He has been masterful. 2 hits, no walks. Of course, we know he's not going to walk anybody because he's only walked 12 guys all year.
This changeup is outstanding, and this is the changeup that the big league scouts are salivating over, because no matter where his fastball tops out at, if he doesn't end up a mid-90s guy, even if he's a low 90s or even high 80s guy, that changeup is the equalizer. And he's already proven with the curveball and the slider that he can spin the ball a little bit, and he's got the frame of somebody that's going to fill out and get a little stronger.
Jackie Bradley Jr. 0 for 2 stands in. He'll be followed by Christian Walker. On the ground to the second baseman Adams, and he throws Jackie Bradley Jr. out. 2 gone. Worrell, the key to throwing that changeup, you've mentioned arm action, but you've got to sell it with your body too, right? Same motion.
You're trying to do the same motion, and you know, if you let the grip take the velocity off, you can use the same leverage from your hips and your shoulders to create the arm speed, and then as the arm comes through, maybe it's 95 mile an hour or 92 mile an hour arm speed, but the ball only comes out at 79 or 80 miles an hour. That's the differential. With the optical illusion to the hitter that it should be coming faster, the spin that makes it read almost like a fastball, and then you get 10 to 12 mile an hour differential, and that's enough to make somebody swing and miss.
Christian Walker 1 for 2, doubled his first time up, but that's one of only 2 hits so far. This to deep short. And gone. Nolan Fontana, a 1-2-3 inning for Hudson Randall. It has been another outstanding pitchers duel here at the College World Series between South Carolina and Florida. Both teams limited to 2 hits. Hudson Randall, 6 strikeouts in 6 innings. Cody Dent, the only RBI of the ballgame on a sacrifice fly. And we'll start with Dent in the bottom of the 6th, then back to the top of the order for the Gators, Nolan Fontana and Bryson Smith. Kumas made a couple mistakes back in the 3rd inning, and they cost him. The only man he walked was Thompson. He eventually came around to score.
You know, walking what was ruled a wild pitch. First was called a pass ball, got the guy to 3rd.
Fastball right down the middle, fouled away.
You really start to see the nuances and the details of baseball when the bats are now a little differential as far as not the gorilla ball anymore, and you almost don't want to leave your seat because the game could change at any moment with a stolen base, a hit and run, an error, pass ball, wild pitch.
Outside of first, foul. And as a pitcher, when you know that it is highly unlikely that somebody is going to hit one 400 feet, it gives you so much more freedom to throw whatever you want, doesn't it?
Well, the real pitch that comes back into play is the fastball low and away. When the fastball low and away gets hit for an opposite field home run, even by a shortstop that weighs 180 pounds, that changes the whole game. Now you've got to throw all quadrants with all pitches, and you're trying to miss bats. But when all of a sudden the fly ball to the opposite field or the fly ball to center field is again an out for most hitters, the fastball low and away becomes a pitch that you can lock in on and you can establish. And then you force hitters to either crowd the plate to start hitting that pitch, and then it opens up other areas to pitch to them. So it just changes pitching completely, and it changes hitting completely.
Here's the 2-2. Dent just missed.
I think there'll be an adjustment by hitters, though. I think pitchers, as you look at Bucky Dent, he played in, you know, the wood bats and one of the most famous home runs ever.
He hit one?
Well, if you're a Red Sox fan, you'll remember it.
That's tipped foul at the plate.
Well, I think it changes with the bats that they're heavier now.
Well, just mentioned something and we got it.
That was a fastball up and in the middle of the plate. Bucky just turned on it. He got the right elevation. Get it over the green monster.
One of the most unlikely heroes ever. That's a called strike 3 to Cody Dent. That's the 4th strikeout for Kumas. And the difference in the bat, they wanted him to play more like wood, and it has been dramatic. Batting average is down from 305 to 282. Home runs per game almost cut in half. Sacrifice bunts are up because teams have to play more small ball. And the ERAs are down because the pitchers, as Orel put it, not going to get hurt by a low outside fastball that some second baseman's going to hit for a 3-run jack.
And I think offense will go up next year. I think the batters took probably a half a season to change their swings this year.
I think, you know, it's one of the things that you're going to adjust as a hitter, but you have to react earlier to pitches. So you have to commit earlier. You can't just sit back and slap something that's going to carry into the. It's not going to carry into the outfield, but it's just one of those things that you just. When you see a pitch, there's only so much time you have to react, and then after that, it's the pitcher. It's the movement of the ball and everything else. So a small guy can't just sit there and wait and slap and get something out of it.
In the air, the straightaway left. makes the catch. That's 2 outs.
Well, I think, the weight is distributed a lot, but it used to be really light, and then it would have a big barrel. But now
they've a big sweet spot.
And a big sweet spot. So now it's gone back to, it's a little more feeling like wood, where the weight's evenly distributed, and you have to start earlier. It's just one of those things in your hand. It's not you're just going to sit there and slap it. You have to actually swing it.
And they don't allow the weight differential between the length and the weight that the bat is also.
It's a -3, which is typical to what a wood bat is. If you had a 34-inch bat, it would probably weigh the lightest it would weigh would be 31 ounces. And that's what they've done with these bats to bring that back in, where before it might have been -5. So, a guy feels like he has a little league bat in his hand, but it's the size of a adult bat.
Right.
And that's where you can wait longer and just sit back and let the guy throw the ball and just hammer it.
Bryson Smith with a 2-1 count, 2 out, nobody on. Here's what they were talking about with the sweet spot. It was 5 inches, now it's 3. That's obviously a huge difference for a hitter.
And psychological for the hitter, too. There's physical things to it, but you feel a whole lot better if a guy's out there throwing and they're trying to miss everything. They're not trying to throw, I would say, as many strikes. They're trying to miss the strike zone and get you to swing through it. But it becomes harder to hit when it's heavier and you have to commit earlier.
Bryson Smith fouls that down the left.
It's like the big racket in tennis when it came in.
That's a good analogy.
The big head, and they made it lighter. They made the sweet spot bigger. People ended up with bigger serves. They ended up getting more serves back. The game became more powerful.
And way back when, when I played, you had to go play in Cape Cod, which was a wood bat league, because scouts would look and go, well, it's okay with that, but we want to see what you do with a wood bat. Now, a lot of these kids go and play in wood bat leagues, but it's a big adjustment. Everybody goes through that first week when you finally get a wood bat in your hand, that you realize how much different it is and how much more you have to commit and how much more of your body you actually have to use to swing.
To generate the power, yeah.
And you would see guys who were great college hitters with aluminum, as there's a base hit by Bryson Smith in the left center field, cut off by Jackie Bradley Jr., and he holds it to a single. Preston Tucker's 3-run homer off of Grayson Garvin of Vanderbilt gave the Gators a 3-0 lead in the 4th inning, and he really ripped this thing. He got all of it he could get.
Now that was against about a 30-mile-an-hour wind, and we hadn't seen any balls carry to right field, but he hit it right on the sweet spot there and generated a lot of bat speed and power.
Now pitching coach Jerry Myers wants to come out and talk to Kumas. But you were talking about guys going from aluminum to the wood bat league, as we're going to have a pitching change. Some guys who were great college hitters would continue to hit well with the wood bat, and other guys, total failure.
Yeah, sometimes there's guys that just can't make that adjustment. They're just so used to having a lighter feel in your hand.
We'll check out the pitching change when we come back in the 6th. Goes 5 2/3, gives up only 1 run, is responsible for the runner at first, but scattered 3 hits, walked only 1, struck out 4. He did his job.
He was very, very solid. Ray Tanner taking an opportunity to talk to him and teach him a little bit. And Tyler Webb going back out there, the lefty, coming in here to face Preston Tucker, trying to match up here already.
Draft eligible sophomore picked in the 48th round by Cincinnati, and he will face Preston Tucker, the left-handed power hitter, with 2 outs and a runner at first. Ray Tanner looking to protect that 1-run lead here in the 6th. Go lefty against lefty. Tucker has flown out twice. Big breaking ball for a called strike.
You know, that breaking ball right there, Mike, is his cut fastball. It says in the notes that his cutter looks like it's a big slider, but he must have a natural cut fastball and then really come around it and make it look like that. I would have called that a slider or a curveball.
There's the fastball hit back through the middle, smothered. Good job by Wingo to keep it on the infield. Otherwise, you got first and third.
Well, I know we were talking about those bats, and this is just an excuse me, but you're seeing the power of Tucker and getting it through the infield. Just gets by an outstretched Wingo.
And now Zanino. He's got to be thinking, what a great time to get out of this slump. First and second with 2 out.
Here we go.
He's been the man all year long. Leads his club in batting average, home runs, RBIs. Second in RBIs was 66 to Tucker. But he's only 2 for 14 here and fanned 5 times. Foul out of play. Kumas would be the winner if they can hold the lead. Check it. He would be the loser unless they can get it back. In the air, right center. 2 runners left. 1-0 after 6. Through 6 innings, Florida with a 1-0 lead over South Carolina. Now let's take a look at our Home Depot coaching clinic. Here's Kyle Peterson.
All right, Mike, thank you. You know, the one thing we've been talking a lot with Hudson Randall is the fastball and the changeup. This is the fastball. A little two-seamer that had some pretty good run on it. But now watch the action on the changeup. Real down, away from that left-hander. And the key in what makes Randall so good is, one, the arm speed is exactly the same on both pitches. So it looks like a fastball even when he's throwing that changeup. So for a fastball, he's going to throw a normal two-seamer. So fingers are going to go right through the two seams like that, and then he gets through it. That's what gives it that good action away from the left-hander. When he throws the changeup, think of the changeup that Randall throws as a two-seam fastball, except you just rotate it over one finger. So it's with your middle finger and your ring finger, and when he lets the ball go, his arm pronates, so it goes right over the top of the baseball. That's what gives it that down action away from the left-hander. His arm action is exactly the same. The only thing that changes is that grip.
Robin, when you hit against a guy with a good changeup, was that the pitch that you were looking for, or could you sit on a changeup and still catch up to his other pitches?
You could if it wasn't a great one. A guy like Trevor Hoffman, you could sit on it and you'd swing at it 3 times by the time it got there, but you're hoping a guy gives it away.
Thomas back through the box, and it's speared by Randall.
And I think a guy, really what happens is he's so good. Randall is so good at his body is the same. As you can see right there, he's also a great fielder on the mound too, but his body is the same. He doesn't do anything different.
Doesn't give it away.
He does not give it away. So if you're not hitting, you're watching. And that's one of those things that you should be on the bench watching to see if he does a slight bit different on different pitches.
For the second time in this game, Randall has retired 8 in a row. Now make it 9 as Morales pops up. Coverage of the NCAA College World Series presented by Capital One will continue tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, Game 2 of the finals. Florida takes on defending champion South Carolina. Coverage also available online at ESPN3.com. And to keep up with all of the College World Series information, just log on to NCAA.com. It's the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. Randall just cruising along.
Well, that's
South
the
Carolina
pitch.
bats in the 7th.
I mean, that's the pitch right there. He throws a little curveball, get me over, gets ahead in the count. Now he can start throwing anything he wants, really.
And that is only 67 pitches. He just managed this game beautifully. Into left field. Easy for Tyler Thompson. 3 up, 3 down, a 6-pitch inning here in the 7th.
Welcome back to Omaha. We are heading into the bottom of the 7th where the Gators lead the Gamecocks 1-0. Now, if you guys want to check out all of the social media aspects of the game, be sure to fan us on Facebook, join all of our followers as we give you behind-the-scenes access. And you can also follow myself along with Kyle Peterson as we give in-game Twitter updates with everything that's going on with the teams, some exclusive pictures. Mike, I know you love the Twitter.
I'm tweeting you right now. Here's what's going on with Jen's Twitter page. Bottom of the 7th, Florida leading 1-0 against South Carolina, these two SEC rivals in the first game of the College World Series Finals. Brian Johnson, the DH, will be followed by Josh Adams and Tyler Thompson facing Tyler Webb, who came out of the bullpen in relief for Forrest Kumas. Johnson has a single in 2 trips tonight.
Let's try, Robert.
That young man is the story so far. The shutout, the low pitch count. The 9 scoreless he threw against them in the regular season, plus the 7 he's thrown so far. 16. He has their number.
The statistics he's put up, he's had everybody's number.
Doesn't even look like he's broke a sweat.
No.
The breeze there blowing on his hair, kind of making it move a little bit. His forehead, there's not even a drop on there.
Two balls, 2 strikes, chopped to short. Good job by Mooney to get the big hop as he charged it. The ESPN2's coverage of Wimbledon will continue tomorrow. The quarterfinals for the ladies. Be there as the top players in the world swing for the championship on the grass of Wimbledon. The ladies quarterfinals in Wimbledon, ESPN2, Tuesday at 7 a.m., 1 Eastern. Josh Adams, 0 for 1 on a sacrifice. He's a senior from Jacksonville. Gators would love to add to this 1-0 lead. They've gotten 4 hits off of Carolina pitching so far. The Gamecocks only 2 against the Gators. In the air, deep right center field. And run down by Jackie Bradley Jr. If it stays in the ballpark and it's to center field, he's got it.
Well, he's going to go get it wherever it's at. And not too much is going to get out of here in that area, so you got the right guy out there.
He just glides. Doesn't look like he's putting a lot of effort into it, but he closes so much ground. Now Tyler Thompson, another lefty against lefty matchup with 2 outs and nobody on for the Gators. Thompson keeps it alive. Piggott would be next for Florida. Robin, that would look good on you.
I've had one of those, Mike.
How long ago?
About 30 years ago.
Now they want to come out and talk to Webb. You know, if Jerry Myers saw something he didn't like. And Myers will trot back to the dugout after a very quick visit to his left-handed reliever. One and one to Thompson. Now 1-2. Haven't even had very many hard hit balls in this one.
No, I mean, it's just one of those things that pitchers are aggressive. They're good. And they're getting ahead of these guys.
Spoiled this one off the first base side. Always something good to eat at the ballpark. You know, they're giving those a workout, aren't they?
Luckily, it's not real hot. They'd have to do that faster.
What game? More ice cream. Tried to check his swing, and he did.
Little breaking ball makes you start. Stop in time.
2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 out, and nobody on. Bottom of the 7th. Webb goes to 3-2 to Tyler Thompson. There's Piggott. Young man with some power and some really good numbers this year. The Gator right fielder tonight. Lost it. Only the second walk issued by South Carolina pitching tonight. Now Piggott, who's 0 for 2, but has had a brilliant postseason to go along with a great regular season. 341 coming into this game for the year. 339 as he stands in here in the bottom of the 7th.
If you're thinking stolen base down there at first base, Tyler Thompson's only attempted it 5 times, only stole 3 bags this year, and with a lefty on the mound, it'd only really probably be a surprise steal where he'd go on first move with 2 outs. But don't be surprised if they try and sneak one in there, because they have been very aggressive when they've gotten a runner on.
This is also that time when you can be aggressive on a ball in the dirt and steal second base.
That ball in the air to left, dropping, but Bradley is there. Boy, he just run down anything. So a walk and a runner left, but at the end of 7, it's 1-0 Gators. If you're just joining us here in Omaha, the only scoring action back in the 3rd. Tyler Thompson walked and reached 3rd after a wild pitch, and then Cody Dent delivers a sacrifice fly down the left field line, and the only run of the ball game scored by Tyler Thompson. That's where we stand as we go to the 8th inning. Hudson Randall has been masterful. 7 innings, only 2 hits. He's fanned 6, not allowed a walk, and South Carolina with only 2 base runners since the 1st inning of this game. And Randall has retired the last 10 men he has faced.
That's very efficient when the maximum pitches you've used is 13. This young man has a 74 pitch complete game this year. So he's used to going through lineups with very few pitches.
He'll face the bottom part of the order here with Mooney, Berry, and Marzilli. For South Carolina, falls behind 2-0. And he gets those quick innings because he's always around the strike zone. That's low. And it's 3-0. 12 walks and 123 in the third innings this year. 12. That's less than one for 9 innings. And that was only the second 3-ball count he's gone to tonight. Mooney is 0 for 2. A fly out and a strikeout. Missed there. So 1 walk every 10 innings. There it is. Our coverage of the NCAA College World Series presented by Capital One will continue tomorrow night, 8 Eastern. Game 2 will have it for you. Florida against defending national champion South Carolina. Also available online at ESPN3.com. And now do you ask Berry, the catcher, to lay down the sacrifice bunt? He has sacrificed 5 times this year. They certainly think so, with Dent coming in from third and Zanino will charge from first.
Well, Hudson's a very good fielding pitcher also, so it has to be put down perfect.
Foul ball! Foul at the plate.
And we've seen a lot of pitchers in this tournament field their position very well. We've had Sonny Gray that got a couple outs at third base on some key bunts, and Hudson is the same way. He's very athletic, so you have to be sure about your bunt and get it to first base without them having a chance to throw it to second.
You see a hit and run here with a strike thrower on the mound. It's one of the things that they're susceptible to. You know the ball's gonna be around the plate.
1-1 to Berry. Checking the signs with Chad Holbrook down at third. Nice bunt. Randall takes the only out he can get. The sacrifice advances Mooney to second base.
Well, this bunt's just bunted right out in front of home plate, and he deadens it by hitting it off the ground first. He didn't push it out there. And the only play is first base.
Now the number 9 man in the order, Marzilli, after the sacrifice. A runner in scoring position, and Marzilli trying to keep it alive to get back to the top of the order with Scott Wingo's one of the hottest hitters they have. Marzilli 0 for 2 and now hitting .292.
Well, this is really that situation in a game where a guy's pitching so well that Kevin O'Sullivan doesn't want to take him out because he's been efficient. He's been dominant, but you have the tying run on second. You have a great bullpen. You have Steven Rodriguez as your lefty.
That one misses. Well, he's thrown so few pitches, certainly not tired.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to justify pulling him out of the game right now.
Marzilli hit the ball hard his first time up, line to left, and then struck out. Missed again, 2-0. Unusual for Randall to fall behind. A lot of action down in the Florida bullpen. Rodriguez is the lefty who has pitched very well here in Omaha.
You know, the infield defense there are taking the bunt away at third, and they're giving him the bunt at first. And I know with 1 out and a man on second, you don't want somebody to bunt. But with the 2-0 count, Ray Tanner up there having a little meeting with his hitter. talking through the strategy of what could be going on right here.
Two and 0 to Marzilli. The tying run at second, 1 out. Inside fastball lofted to right center field. Smith is going to be there. The runner tags. And the throw is wide. A runner at third with 2 out. Mooney took a chance on a deep fly ball and made it to third. Strong throw by Smith, but offline. I think that would qualify as an aggressive base running play.
It is. I mean, he's a guy that knows that he can make it. You never want to make, you know, that out that takes you out of that inning, but you also have a chance that it might bounce off you, get away from the third baseman, and then you score. So you want to make them, you know, throw you out, but it has to be a tough play.
And Kevin O'Sullivan coming to the mound. Hasn't made up his mind yet, obviously.
He hasn't given up a run. South Carolina in 16 2/3 innings. He's only thrown 79 pitches tonight. The other 9 that I'm talking about are when he faced him and threw a shutout in the regular season. He's probably asking him how he feels, and I think he's going to get, I feel fine.
There are 2 lefties coming up, if that would play into the decision. Wingo and Jackie Bradley Jr. And Rodriguez, the lefty, in the bullpen. But they're going to stick with Randall, and why not?
Well, having that runner on third is a little different situation than having him on second. On second, you can play the infield back and just knock the ball down and keep the run from scoring. But now you've got to play your infield at normal depth. You've got a guy who can beat out an infield hit if you don't play it properly. You got a guy who can bunt for a hit also, so you got to play in at third.
Wingo has grounded out and struck out twice. That one just missed. He had the walk-off base hit that beat Texas A&M. And don't expect Randall to throw one away. He does not have a wild pitch this year. Breaking pitch, 1-1. Looked like that changeup again, didn't it?
It was a little off-speed breaking ball or changeup with depth. They've been working him with soft stuff most of the night. There's the straight change. His 3 prior at bats, the strikeout to strikeout and the ground out, were predominantly off-speed pitches. He's really not supplying any power for Scott Wingo at all by throwing a fastball.
You see, Wingo has been so good with runners on this year. Two and 2. When they continue to feed him a steady diet of off-speed stuff.
Well, Hudson Randall has just been making quality pitch after quality pitch. He's got some great concentration once he comes set and looks in at the target. He just doesn't immediately come. You see he's got it out in front of that ball. The only thing he's going to do is hit a ground ball, pull it foul. Watch Randall concentrate after he comes set here to pick up his target and think about this pitch.
2 and 2 to Scott Wingo. Runner at third, 2 out in the 8th. The middle, base hit for tie. Wingo saw enough of the off-speed stuff that he could finally time one and deliver.
You know, when you envision someone swinging and missing, and you've been striking them out throughout the night, and and you concentrate and you make your pitch, and then the ball gets hit back at you, you are almost surprised. This is a great fielder. Remember the chopper over his head he elevated and got? There was a ground ball up the middle that he got earlier. This one actually surprised him when the ground ball came back at him, and Wingo got the job done.
His 29th RBI, maybe the biggest of the year. And that not only ties the game, it's going to chase Hudson Randall. The only man he walked has scored.
This is just South Carolina baseball. I mean, you know, you sit there and you watch them, and with all the problems they have, this guy might not play, this guy's hurt. They grind out enough to make every game close. And I know this one didn't seem like there was a lot going on, but
this is the way they won it last year. This is the way they're trying to win it this year. Welcome back to Omaha, Nebraska. The College World Series Finals. We're in game one. We're tied in the 8th. South Carolina has rallied here to tie it on a single by Scott Wingo, and that will bring Steven Rodriguez out of the bullpen with a 4-2 record and a 1.75 ERA. He has been even better here in Omaha. He has been lights out. And the throw to first. He's got that unusual motion, Oral.
And when he comes set, it almost looks like he's going to start delivering the ball, but he just uses that as a little extra move that gets him his weight transfer right there onto his back leg.
Jackie Bradley Jr. with a big cut, and he missed it. He is 0 for 3 tonight. His average has fallen to 256. You can certainly forgive his batting average because he missed 26 games coming in here. His timing can't be there. Breaking ball popped up, and that will get out of play. 0-2. When you miss 26 games after wrist surgery on a torn tendon, you're just not going to be able to swing and keep up your timing at all.
Well, he's also coming in here facing the best pitchers in the country, too.
Sure. Throw over. Wingo with 7 stolen bases this year. Rodriguez trying to get out of the 8th. Fastball is fouled back. Randall was really good tonight, as advertised. Foul tip to stay alive.
Well, I think that one was a mistake pitch. He left that one over the middle of the plate. His best pitch for a left is he starts it in the middle of the plate, rides it away. It's kind of a slide, like a slurve going away. He wants him to swing and miss, not necessarily throw a strike.
He's got tremendous power at only 5'10", 175. 6 home runs on the year, but you project that out to a full season, and he's in double digits easily. Oh, 2 to Jackie Bradley Jr. A runner at first, 2 out. We're tied at 1 in the 8th. Tried to get him to chase. Christian Walker would be next if Bradley can keep it alive. Struck him out.
It's been a pitcher's duel all night. But Carolina breaks it with a tie here. Wingo with that base hit up the middle. The reaction, they're in the ballgame.
The NCAA College World Series is...
Welcome back to Omaha. 1-1, bottom of the 8th. Cody Dent will lead it off for the Florida Gators, who have just given up their hard-earned 1-run lead in the top half of this inning. Dent provided the only RBI for the Gators with a sacrifice fly back in the 3rd inning. He is also fanned tonight and is hitting .208. Slapped foul. A lot of left-handers in this Florida lineup for Tyler Webb to face. Missed with a fastball. Nolan Fontana, the leadoff man, would be next. Dent in the air to straightaway center. The FIFA Women's World Cup continues on ESPN. Tomorrow morning, Group C takes the field. First at 8:45 Eastern, Colombia against Sweden. Then at 11:45 a.m. Eastern, Abby Wambach, Hope Solo in the U.S. takes on North Korea. Both games also available on ESPN3.com and on your phone. Fontana, who's looking at an 0 for 3 night, hit one ball hard back in the 3rd inning when he lined to right. That's popped down the 3rd baseline. Coming out in the left field, a nice play. Jake Williams with a good running catch right in front of the tarp, and 2 quickly gone.
The thing about the ballpark here is you've got some really wide warning tracks, and he does a great job of staying with this ball because there's a lot of strides there, working that whole angle on the dirt and not looking away from the tracking the ball. As he runs here, you got a wide warning track, plus he's walking, going right down the dirt. So the whole time he's running, he's feeling dirt like I'm going to hit the wall, I'm going to hit the wall, and keeps curving away from him. And he did a great job staying with that.
It's the 12th outfield putout for South Carolina tonight. And Robin, I know as a fielder, to Oral's point, no matter how often you have looked at all that foul territory and say, oh, I can run forever, when you run forever, it gets a little frightening.
Well, you're used to certain ballparks in that distance, and as soon as it becomes odd, and for the major leagues, it's Oakland. You know, you can get a foul ball in Oakland, you keep running, you're looking up, you're waiting to run into something, and that's when you become tentative and you slow down and you start reaching for the ball instead of just getting under it and catching it.
You know that wall's out there somewhere.
And that tarp.
It's a psychological battle. You know.
And hopefully, you know, when Peter Mooney's running out there, he's helping you. You know, you have other fielders that are helping you, letting you know kind of where you're at.
2 outs, nobody on. Bottom of the 8th for Bryson Smith. He singled his last time up and is 2 for 3. Takes a 3-1 fastball for a strike. Preston Tucker is on deck. I'd love to get to Tucker and Zanino. Zanino, who's the power in this lineup. A little bit high, ball 4. Smith is on. Boy, and Ray Tanner upset with that call. He thought that was a strike.
Let's see what K-Zone thinks. It's a little up. Good call.
Now Tucker, and they want to come out and talk about this guy. Had an infield single his last time up. Bat restrictions or not, Tucker and Zanino are guys who can lose it. Neff and Taylor in the South Carolina pen. We have not seen Matt Price up as yet, who pitched so long the other night. They thought he might be available for a brief appearance tonight if they need him, but he's not warming yet.
Well, I'd be very shocked if he was able to pitch tonight. I think they're going to go with kind of everybody else but Roth and Price.
It'll be their game tomorrow, probably.
He has 4 wins out here in the last 2 years coming out of the bullpen. Nobody's ever won more than 4 in their career. That's remarkable what he's done.
Roth, who's right there in the middle of your screen, will be on 3 days rest. And Price, he's just as many. Throwing the 95 pitches as your closer. What do you go, 5 1/3, 5 2/3, something
He
like that?
threw starters pitches, didn't he?
Here we go.
Now Tucker, lefty against lefty. Just missed. See those numbers, 74 runs driven in. That's huge this year. Goes after one that's outside. They'll go to second for the quick force. We have completed 8. We are tied at 1. 1-1 top of the 9th. South Carolina and Florida. There is Christian Walker, the sophomore from Limerick, Pennsylvania, who has a broken hamate bone in his left hand. The doctors worked on him this afternoon. They told us this morning they didn't expect there was any way he was going to be able to play, but they padded up his wrist, padded the bat, and first time up, doubles down the right field line. You're the College World Series. You play if you can. Anyway.
Yeah, and his first swing in BP was a home run.
South Carolina has not hit a long ball in the College World Series. And this is the guy who leads the club with 10. It'll be Walker, Thomas, and Morales in the South Carolina 9th. Steven Rodriguez on the hill for the Florida Gators.
Well, one of the things that's different for Walker is he normally hangs his hand over the knob when he hits, and now by taping it up, they're protecting that so that pressure is not on his hand.
That's in there, 2-1, just caught the corner. That's in there for a called strike, 2-2.
If you're going to have a problem with one hand or the other, which one, Robin?
I would rather have my top hand. I always like to feel like I was pulling. And I know Jackie Bradley's the opposite. His is the top hand, which I think is more difficult.
Struck him out in the bat. Goes firing back toward the wall. So Walker's gone on strikes.
Well, breaking ball down and in, and he tried to turn on it. And once he missed it, we haven't seen him really swing and miss even in BP. This might be the first time we've seen him swing and miss, at least with that full swing. Definitely lost the strength of the grip there.
Now Thomas. It's one into the stands down the left field side. A lot of times with a hand injury, you swing and miss. It hurts worse than if you make contact.
Right, because you're trying to hold on to it, but he likes to have his hand hang over that knob, and that's where the pressure comes, is that normally people will hold the bat and have it like this, but he liked to hold it like this. So now they have it taped up, so they put his hand here to kind of protect where his handmate's at.
Right.
And it's harder to hold on to the bat. You're just not used to having it in there. Your fingers are holding it before, and now you feel like the palm of your hand is holding it.
Rodriguez, 5 innings pitched. He has fanned 10 in that span. This ball's guided into left. A base hit by Brady Thomas. His first hit after grounding out 3 times.
Well, with the ball going away from you, this is a nice job of staying with it. This is really your only objective right here, is to hang in there, especially with that slider, and make sure you hit something the other way.
Adam Matthews is going to come on to run for Thomas.
You just moved from 1 stolen base attempt to 1 stolen base to 6 attempts with 4 steals. So Matthews a little quicker down there.
And now Kevin O'Sullivan is going to come out and talk to Rodriguez. And he's got Austin Maddox coming out of the bullpen. So we've got a pitching change here in the 9th. We'll check out the numbers on Maddox when we come back to Omaha. Back in Omaha, where South Carolina has something going in the top of the 9th in a 1-1 ball game, and Austin Maddox has come out of the bullpen for the Florida Gators. He is the 3rd pitcher of the night, making his 21st appearance. He is 3-0, a 6'3", 225-pound sophomore. And Jen, he also has an injury problem, doesn't he?
That's right, Michael. He has that sprained foot that we saw that held him out of the regionals, and he just returned here in the College World Series. Now he's got a taping of his arch, as well as a custom orthotic in one of his shoes. So, you know, something to look at, because that could affect the way he pitches there on the mound.
When he pitched the other day, he seemed to have control problems, at least early. Fell behind several times, but went 1 2/3. Didn't walk anybody. Didn't allow a run. And he will face Adrian Morales. Goes after the first pitch and fouls it away. Adam Matthews, the pinch runner down at first, who came on for Brady Thomas, was a pinch runner in the 13th inning the other night. And guess what? He scored the winning run. Morales has a single on the night. This one hit back up the box, could be 2. And is. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. As Maddox comes out of the bullpen and gets a 6-3 double play. Welcome back to Omaha. A 1-1 tie as we go to the bottom of the 9th. Let's take a look at tonight's Capital One Cup impact performance and oral. Let's go to the pitcher's mound.
Hudson Randall was attacking Scott Wingo with off-speed pitches with the man on third, 2 out, and needed a big hit. But watch the last pitch. When we get to number 5, it's going to be the highest of all of them. And that's the one he gets some aluminum on and drives it up the middle. A lot of times when you're attacking with off-speed pitches, when you finally go to get him out, it's the chase pitch that's lower than the other ones, not higher.
Both teams have been limited to 4 hits, and now you'll see the Submariner John Taylor come on to pitch the bottom of the 9th. Zanino, Johnson, and Adams, the scheduled hitters. The Gators of Florida.
John, he adjusted once he got to college. He did not come here as a Submariner. Young man very confident in his abilities and really wanted to contribute to this Carolina ball club, but didn't look like he was going to with a normal delivery, so he decided to make the adjustment. He's been very effective since he's done that. You see that 1.17 ERA.
It was interesting. He had a couple of warm-up pitches that he threw sidearm almost 3/4 before he goes to the submarine delivery. And if he fields his position in this inning, you'll see he makes throws to the bases submarine. He will not throw over the top, which is highly unusual.
Well, it surprises you as a fielder. I can tell you, if you're not ready for it, he can surprise you. But
3, 4, 5 in the order. 18 home runs this year for Mike Zanino. Strike at the knees.
Well, that's going to be a tough pitch to hit if you're a hitter. You need to normally when you face a guy, you want to get the ball down. Off of a pitcher like Taylor, you want to get the ball up. You want to see it up in the zone.
That one missed. 1-1. Zanino wasn't happy with that first call of a strike and let the home plate umpire know about it.
He's made an adjustment. He's up in the box here, about 6-8 inches from where he normally stands because of the sidearm submarine sinker baller. Trying to get the ball before it starts heading down.
Taylor has not allowed a home run this year in 69 1/3 innings. Ball 3. Zanino has had success against South Carolina. In the series they played back in March, he was 7 for 12, but not out here. Only 2 for 15. He's fanned 5 times. Big swing and a miss on 3-1.
He's just not picking the ball up out of his hands. That was a very weak swing behind for a 3-1 cut. He was hoping to get something running into his swing, and he got a fastball away.
High fastball fouled away into the right field stands.
And that's the one you're really looking for as a hitter. It was elevated. You have a chance to get to it. When the ball's down, you feel like you're chopping at it, and all you can do is pound it into the ground.
(3-2), another fastball. Right now, this is strength against strength. Zanino, a big kid, 6'2", 215, a lot more power than you might expect. He can really launch it. And Taylor is feeding him fastballs right now. Another 3-2.
Right now you're in that zone as a hitter. 3-2, you know he doesn't want to walk you. So you're going to get a fastball, and you're just trying to zone it in closer and closer, get the timing of it. Chances of getting a slider are very slim.
You hope.
You hope. Well, now you start selling out a little bit on your swings. You can get a little bigger.
9th pitch of this at bat. Missed. The winning run is aboard for Brian Johnson, who is 1 for 3 tonight.
Isn't this where Brian Johnson has to be really disciplined? If he's not bunting, swinging away, he's got to try and take the ball the opposite field.
Well, you can. There's this. The ball's going to be sinking away from you. So again, you want to get it elevated, but you also have that hole on the right side. So if you're going to pull it, you need to pull it into that hole, and then hopefully Zanino can make it to third.
Brian Johnson, a .303 hitter, has 1 sacrifice all year long. Fouls that one at the plate. So you're asking a guy to sacrifice who's not used to it.
And it's not easy. Again, you're normally not going to bunt, but you're also bunting a submariner, and it's hard because you have to keep your bat at the top of the zone. You see him jab at it because the third baseman Morales is coming in, putting pressure on him. So you have to be able to get yourself out over the plate and naturally just take it from the top of the zone and bring it with you.
Already squared up, takes that outside. Where do you want to bunt this ball, Robin?
Well, with Morales coming down the third baseline, you're going to have to pull this to the first base side. You have Walker that's still at first base with a possible, not feeling so good with his wrist and not trusting gloving it and trying to get the guy at second.
And even though he's a catcher, Zanino can run. He has 7 stolen bases this year.
Ow.
Johnson fouls off another one. So he's in a 1-2 hole. And with those 2 attempts, you'd be a little surprised if they keep the bunt on, wouldn't you?
I would be. I mean, at this point, just the attempts that he's had.
It's just not been a very good approach at the plate as far as bunting. When he sets up the bunt, he only got the bat covering half the plate. He's trying to bunt the ball to first. He should be crowding the plate and really getting the barrel of the bat out over the outside corner with good angle to make the bunt to first. So it's just been some poor attempts as far as the mechanics of trying to get the bunt down.
John Taylor ahead in the count, 1-2. Morales right now even with the bag at third, now a couple of steps behind as he backs up, not expecting another bunt. That one's outside. 2-2.
This turns out we're one of those things where you fail as the bunter and you turn out to be the hero. You're going to get one of those sinkers away probably right here, and you're going to make an excuse me swing, get a base hit to left, and all of a sudden everybody's going, I'm glad you didn't get the bunt down.
Well, I'm sure they weren't too upset with Johnson bunting.
2-2, a fastball, and there it is into right field. You're going to have runners at first and third. He did exactly what you were talking about. You failed to sacrifice and then come through with a big hit.
Yeah, he didn't go for the excuse me swing. He got a ball up and he really turned on it. And this is the ball Robin's talking about. If you're going to get a ball up, you got a chance to turn and use the hole over there at first base with the runner on. And he takes his mistake on the bunting side of it and says, watch me swing the bat. Right now, he's setting Florida up to go up 1-0 in this College World Series best of 3, and you can see the intensity coming from that bench now.
The winning run is at third for Josh Adams. Nobody out, first and third. Boy, this has been a beautifully pitched ball game. And right now, Taylor in a world of trouble.
Well, they're going to have to play their infield in, and you wouldn't normally see a squeeze from a submariner. And they're just going to go ahead and put them on and load it up so they have forces at every bases.
Adams will get a pass. That pitch was a little close to the strike zone, wasn't it?
They're trying to throw 4 wide ones, but we've seen when he throws the bases, he throws this way, and that first one got away a little bit.
Tyler Thompson would be next. He's walked twice, scored the first Florida run. There's ball 3.
It's a situation sometimes where you'll see the defense go to a 5-man infield because the fly ball to the outfield almost automatically scores the run from third, but the ground ball in the infield that gets through, if you had your outfielder in the infield, you have a chance to get a double play or at least keep the run from scoring. Tommy Lasorda, I played for the Dodgers for 11 years, played 5-man infield probably more than anybody I've ever seen. And I think it's a very smart play because ball hits the outfield, it's over. Your outfielders are no good for you almost right here.
Texas A&M did that against South Carolina. I mean, Wingo hit the ball off the wall, but Rob Childs had brought a guy off the bench and they put him in the infield. They put him right at second base.
Williams is very deep in left. If there's a fly ball to him where he's standing, he's got no chance to throw out the winning run. Bases loaded. Strike called to Josh Adams, who has driven in 42 runs this year and had a Gators with a pair of walk-off hits. Excuse me, Tyler Thompson, because they walked Adams. Oh and 1. Just outside third foul. 0 and 2.
We talked about the 5-man infield, but I think the outfield for South Carolina is too deep. They've got to be to a point where if they catch the ball, they can throw the runner out at home for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if they catch a fly ball there, it doesn't matter anyway. I know they probably think, you know, we can get a running start at it, but.
Oh and 2. Up the middle. Stab. Throw to the plate. They get it. What a play. Wingo with a diving stop. Not a good throw. And Barry short-hopped it at the plate to get the force.
Well, this is what happens when you pull the infield in. You get the ground ball. Wingo dives for it. He comes up. He knows he has the force at home. And a great pick by Barry, keeping his foot on home plate. Ball barely misses the mask.
How's that for a pick with a catcher's mitt? Fielder's choice. The bases are still loaded. And 1 out. Wingo saved the day, at least temporarily, with a heck of a play. And now Piggott. 1 pitch away from a double play that could get him out of the inning.
Well, South Carolina is used to this. Against Virginia, they had the bases loaded twice and wiggled their way out of it. Once with no outs.
And then the line drive, double play that ended the inning before they won the game in the bottom half of that inning.
Piggott with a chance. The infield still in. The outfield still quite deep.
I think this is where you worry more about the blooper than a ball hit deep.
0-1 to Daniel Piggott. To Wingo again. Home for 1. Back to first. Double play. Scott Wingo, the defensive hero in the bottom of the ninth. He made 2 plays when he had to make them. And Barry with a great play to get the pick at home, and then the perfect throw to get the double play at the end of this one. We'll go to the 10th. Drama in the bottom of the 9th. Florida had a chance, bases loaded, nobody out, but Scott Wingo with a couple of great defensive plays at second base to bail him out. And now we go to the 10th inning. This is the double play after Wingo had made the play that saved the game, and he starts a 4-2-3 double play.
It was close there at first, but they got him. Well, barely. Maybe by the length of a spike, and he might have been safe. That would have been the game.
That would have been the game.
No. They got the guy at home. First out was at home. That's my fault.
That's
I
right.
set you up.
Yeah, you're right,
partner.
Fastball ripped back through the box. And the Gators, Jake Williams, starts the 10th with a base hit.
That's where Florida's got to watch out, because with the defense, there's going to be some bunts. You can't panic and try to get lead runners and throw the ball away, because that's what happened when South Carolina won their last game.
Yeah, and Ray Tanner's not a conventional just bunt him and get him over. I mean, he's not afraid to play a little hit and run, have some guys moving around.
Peter Mooney stands in. He leads this club in sacrifice bunts. 5'7", 160, a junior from Loxahatchee, Florida. And he wants to bunt the lead run over. Boy, Wingo's been huge in this World Series, hasn't he?
Huh? Just hitting wise and fielding wise, he always seems to be like in the middle of it. You know, he gets the base hit.
Mooney pulls the bat back. He's ahead in the count 2-0.
Well, right here, if you're going to have some guys moving right now, it'd be a good time for a hit and run.
I think, you know what, with a guy that can handle the bat the well as he can, I think he squares around the bunt, but I think he takes this pitch no matter what. And I think then 2-1, we'll either see if they leave the bunt on or go hit and run. I think you're right, Robin. We're getting to some action.
Fouled at the plate. Guys trying to sacrifice, you virtually have to let him bunt the ball. You can ill afford to walk him, have runners at first and second, because Barry, the guy on deck, sacrificed his last time up. Then you'd have a chance to get somebody over to third. Popped up, and it drops before Zanino can get to it. Orel, as a pitcher, you can throw the best pitch that you can, but sometimes you just have to take your medicine.
Yeah, you can't just throw a cookie in there, because if they do take it off and go hit and run, you don't want to just lay it in for them. So you're trying to throw a quality pitch, but you're definitely not trying to throw it to the corner. Just trying to keep it down, let them get the bunt down.
2-2, the bunt is off, and Mooney fouls it back over the roof.
Once you get ahead 0-1 or 1-2, and you think the bunt's still on, maybe you throw an out pitch then, a breaking ball, or you go with a high fastball up and in, maybe try and get a pop-up out of it. But when you're even in the count or behind, you're really trying to let the offense do what they want. I'll take an out.
Top of the 10th in a 1-1 game at the College World Series in Omaha. Another foul. SportsCenter will follow our broadcast, but we may be far from done. We went 13 innings the other night in a similar ball game. Now we're in the top of the 10th. Both teams have been limited to 5 hits and 1 run. Williams at first started this inning with a single, and now Mooney, 2-2. Was after a high fastball and pops it up. We'll get back in the seats.
And you're getting into that zone where the pitcher's throwing a lot of pitches. You're fouling pitches off. You're getting a little better timing. He's been feeding him fastballs, and that right side of the infield is open with Tucker holding on the runner at first.
8th pitch of the at-bat coming. South Carolina just seems to find a way to win these. Another foul ball.
Well, they're definitely going with the fastball because they don't want to give him anything soft to hit in that hole over there with Jake Williams on first base. If you think about going change-up or slider, you're speeding up the batter's bat. He's left-handed, and now you give him a shot at that hole. A lot easier than throwing a hard fastball away.
Out of the zone, pops it up into shallow left, and coming on is Thompson, 1 gone. And South Carolina in rarefied territory in the NCAA and in the College World Series. Only 1 short of Texas. 14 straight. And here in the College World Series, they're trying to tie LSU and USC for the longest streak in Omaha. Now Barry, the catcher, stands in. 0 for 2 with the sacrifice. This is fouled back.
If you're thinking about South Carolina offense, the next 4 hitters, including Barry, have not gotten a hit tonight. Well, 1, Scott Wingo. So you got 1 hit out of the next 4 guys.
That's Marzilli, the number 9 hitter and the on-deck batter. Lined and through into right field past the diving Josh Adams. Williams will stop at second, and it's first and second with one out. Berry with his first base knock of the night.
Little jam shot. He kind of did a good job with a ball that was middle in. It almost jammed himself, but he did a good job getting the barrel on and squeezing it out there to right field.
Now here comes Kevin O'Sullivan.
He's not only their head coach, he's their pitching coach.
Marzilli is a left-handed batter, and that's Nick Mirande, the left-handed reliever. And Mirande has gotten the call. Let's take you back to last year when South Carolina captured the College World Series in a similar situation.
South Carolina wins the College World Series. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Swinging is a shot, and this ball game is over. Deep to right field, and off the wall. Here comes the run. South Carolina pulls it out in the 9th inning. So the Gamecocks knock off Texas A&M in a dramatic finale. Robert Berry at the plate. They go to third. It's not going to be a time, and they throw it away. That's it. South Carolina's going to win it in the 13th.
A team of drama, a team of destiny. And they have proven it time and time again. And right now they've got another shot here in the top of the 10th inning. And here's the new pitcher, Nick Mirande, making his 37th trip to the hill. 42 innings, an ERA under 2. And a third-round pick of the Angels this year.
Well, Mirande knows he has the challenge because these South Carolina guys, Scott Wingo, the 2 plays he makes last inning, unbelievable to show the scrappiness of this team. They've got a Christian Walker, a guy with a broken hamate bone that comes through and gets it braced up, tapes up, gets a doubles first time. These guys continue to press at you. They were down 1-0. They scrapped out the 1 run. Wingo's does it with his defense and his offense. And now they've got first and second and 1 out. And they're pushing the envelope again.
I mean, unless there's a double play, guess who gets to come back up? Scott Wingo.
Exactly.
Marzilli first and second. 1 out. A .290 hitter right now. Lefty against lefty. Wingo, the left-hander, would be next, and Jackie Bradley Jr. And Oral, you were talking about the adversity. They lost Jackie Bradley Jr. for 26 games with a torn tendon in his wrist. Well, they've overcome whatever adversity they've had thrown at them all year long.
I think they like it. I think they like it. It's not normal if everybody's healthy. Everybody, the lineup runs exactly the same all the time. They have 42 different lineups.
Swing and a miss.
Ray Tanner talks about win anyway. And no matter what they're talking, what circumstance they're having a team meeting about, 42 degrees, winds blowing out, win anyway. Christian Walker, broken hamate bone, win anyway. Jackie Bradley Jr. out April 23rd. Don't have him for 20-some games, win anyway.
Tried to check his swing. In there anyway. 2 outs. Wingo has done the job on offense, and on defense he's been even better. How about this for a play? The throw with the 4 spaces loaded, nobody out. Then the next play he starts a double play to end the inning. Some people just perform when they absolutely have to, and Wingo's one of them. He is our Capital One Cup impact performer tonight. Had the game-tying RBI in the 2 plays that saved it on defense.
Oh.
That pitch was close. It might have caught the bottom of the strike zone. Scott Wingo caught a break. So did South Carolina.
They've had some success against Morande over his career. 2 in the 3rd innings, 3 runs scored. This one up the middle, stabbed by the second baseman. They'll get the force. Good play by Adams. Wingo does not come through on this one, and we'll go to the bottom of the 10th in a 1-1 ball game. And there is South Carolina's closer on the bullpen phone with 2 days rest. He may be getting ready to come in and join the fray here tonight after 95 pitches. That's right, the closer. 95 pitches.
What's he doing with the phone in his right hand?
Should have it in the left.
Should have it in his left. He should be resting that right arm. He's running the bullpen though. He's on the phone, probably giving a little feedback on how he felt when he played a little catch. One of his buddies up in the stands yelling down, saying, "I'm here."
Cody Dent will lead it off in the Gator 10th. John Taylor starts him off with a fastball that's fouled back.
Cody has the only RBI on the Florida side. Sac fly to left field.
Ball and no strikes. We'll go back to the top of the order after Dent for Fontana and Smith. If anybody can get on board, we'll see Preston Tucker. And that's what John Taylor doesn't want. Missed again.
Cody Dent had a big triple in the Vanderbilt game that shot up the gap. Any ball that gets into the gap, it's not going to be a double. It's going to be a triple.
Really skids on that outfield grass, and we've had more triples than home runs. That's 3 and 1.
I tell you, Dad's really proud of that take right there. He knows Cody's role is to get on base right here, and he's grinding away every pitch like he's out there at the plate. He is grinding. It is so hard. I get more nervous watching my son play than when I did.
3-1 is in there at the knees for a called strike. 3 and 2. Fastball down the middle, slapped into right field. Yes, sir. The Dents are happy. Got a room service fastball and turned on it.
Well, patience pays off. He took the 3-1 pitch, comes back, gets the same pitch, and puts it in that hole on the first base side. Head down on contact, hit it out in front. And that ball was elevated too. Again, with a submarine pitch, you want to get that ball up. He got the low strike earlier in the count, and he waited till they got that ball up.
Now Nolan Fontana, who was a very good bunter. And that was foul tipped.
There's a shot here to pull the bat back and maybe get hit by it.
Taylor's thinking, bunt this.
It looks so easy when it's coming right at you to bunt. Sometimes that ball creeps in on you. It's hard to get the barrel back to it.
Got this one down. The throw to first. Very close to being thrown away. Taylor came up and threw, barely got the runner because he nearly threw it into right field.
Well, this is a nice bunt. It's right out in front of home plate. Straight back to Taylor. No play at second base. And you can see his momentum started going towards second, thinking he had it there. And Morales doesn't go back to third base. Nobody was covering third. So if Dent would have rounded, he might have had a shot at going to third base.
I think he definitely had a shot. He was actually closer when he rounded second than anybody was to the bag.
Nice job by Walker at first base. That one nearly goes back to the screen.
And it's your responsibility. You see Morales coming down here. As soon as he knows he doesn't have it, he has to start getting back, or Barry's got to start running down the third baseline. Somebody's got to get down there.
Somebody being the key word.
Later in this series, you might see a bunt and run to get the runner all the way over to third because of that defense.
Bryson Smith stands in. A couple of hits tonight, 2 for 3 and a walk. He's now hitting .331. The potential winning run at second base.
Oh.
(1-1), bottom of the 10th. Only one out and a runner at second. Into left. Williams back, makes the catch for the second out of the inning. And now Preston Tucker.
Well, I don't know if Preston Tucker's really going to get a chance to hit right here. I don't
think so.
They're going to put out 4 fingers and take their shots with Mike Zanino.
It's interesting to walk Tucker to get to the SEC Player of the Year,
isn't it?
He's in a slump, but he has carried them all year.
Well, they don't have Price in the bullpen. You're now just matching up and really just submariner to a righty. I think that's more of it than anything.
Kyle Peterson, what are you thinking right now?
Well, I think the biggest thing right now is why they've got to do this is because of what their bullpen situation is. I mean, Stephen Neff, the left-hander, is up and throwing. But if you bring Neff in, there's really not anybody behind him, because even if Price comes in, I mean, you can't expect him to go more than a hitter or two or maybe an inning. So, I mean, if you got a full bullpen, in this situation, I think a left-hander's coming in just a one-pitch or a one-at-bat guy, and then after that you bring in Price or Mata. But I think because of the depleted bullpen, you got to walk him in.
Well, Zanino is a right-hander. He's coming up now, walked his last time up, but is 0 for 3 tonight. And slumping here in Omaha. Two for 15, punched out 5 times. But a base hit away from winning this game. Dent at second represents the winning run. Base hit to left. Dent's going to try to score. Williams with a throw to the plate, and they get it. Sharply hit to Williams, and he made a great throw, and Barry was waiting on it. How about that?
Zanino comes through, but Williams answers. Williams to Barry. The tag, you're out, and we move on. Welcome back to Omaha. We're 1-1 going to the top of the 11th. The Gators are having to go back on defense when they thought they'd be celebrating at home plate, but Jake Williams with his arm from left field gunned down that last runner to keep us here.
It's an aggressive call to send that runner, but you got to make the other team make a play in that situation.
You really have no choice. I mean, you get that base hit, you got to send them. You make them make the play, and they just did it. You just tip your hat to them and move on.
Now the heart of the order, the leadoff man Walker here in the 11th. Or excuse me, Jackie Bradley Jr. Smoked and stabbed by the first baseman Preston Tucker. That ball was crushed.
And this is just a line drive, playing in that hole, but Tucker with great reaction right here. One step and a dive.
Boy, this has had some superb defense in this game. Now Walker, who fanned in the 9th. Outside corner at the knees. That one's in there too, 0-2. Christian Walker hitting .353 right now. Looking for a base hit here in the 11th. Takes that fastball outside at 93. Spoiled that one to stay alive.
Jake Williams, his golden arm right now, resting it on the sidelines in case there's anybody else next inning to throw out.
This one back through the box. Walker with a base hit. Take one more look at this. They're going to wave him home. And the throw all the way on the fly, just barely wide of the plate, and Barry makes the tag on Dent.
Well, they're also lucky that ball didn't hit Dent in the back, because the ball's up the line just a tad.
Adam Matthews, who came on to pinch run for Brady Thomas, stands in, and here comes Kevin O'Sullivan again, who's wearing a path in the grass on the way out to the mound tonight.
This is a game where Florida just really feels like, you know, they've been snake bit. They had bases loaded, no out. They got the diving stop by Wingo. They got the force out at home. Then they got the ground ball to Wingo, a double play. Then they got a 2-out base hit by Zanino, who's been in a slump and carried them all year. They get the guys run on the plate, and now they're battling with their bullpen.
Now Greg Larson will come out of the pen to pitch for the Gators. We'll be back in a moment. The defending NCAA College World Series champion Gamecocks of South Carolina have flashed some leather tonight. Back in the ninth, bases loaded, nobody out. Scott Wingo with a diving stop to throw to the plate. Barry with the pick, and then the next batter, a ground ball to Wingo. He starts the 4-2-3 double play to get him out of the inning. Then left fielder Jake Williams comes up throwing, and Cody Dent is out at the plate as Barry applied the tag. It has been pitching and defense all year long that has carried the day. And now Greg Larson, another guy with really good numbers. A 29th round pick of the Angels this year, a 2.15 ERA. And he comes on with 1 on and 1 out to face Adam Matthews. Walker at first. Walker goes to throw too high into center field. Walker on his way to third. Here's the throw. He's in there. And it gets it up. And Walker will score. This is like deja vu all over again. The game they had against Virginia with bad throws.
Well, it comes with the throw from Zanino. He's probably not expecting Walker to be stealing a base. He doesn't set himself. The throw is high. Now the throw comes to Smith, from Smith to Dent. You can't cover it up, and it ends up in the seats.
I tell you what, Christian Walker not supposed to play because he's got a broken hammock bone in his left hand. And he goes head first into second and feet first into third, jams his left hand on both of them, and the adrenaline brings him home.
All the air just blew out of the Florida dugout.
Oh no, who's up?
The guy you would expect to be up. After all, he's had 2 days rest after 95 pitches. The South Carolina closer. It's a stolen base, an error on the catcher, and an error on the center fielder, allowing the run to score. Holy cow. After all the great defensive plays, to see 2 errors on 1 play.
And all from a young man that's quite a competitor that wasn't even supposed to be in the lineup because he has a broken hammock bone in his left wrist. He wasn't in the lineup until about 10-15 minutes before the game. We finally okayed him.
Bet the hand's feeling all right now.
We had printed lineups that had to be thrown away and changed. You know.
Single-handedly in this inning. Gets the base hit.
Single-handedly?
Single-handedly.
As he says, tongue-in-cheek.
And a base on balls. You can imagine Greg Larson right now has got to be a little shaken. Well, what a deflating feeling this has got to be for the Gators. A base hit, a stolen base, an error on the throw to second, then the center fielder with an error on the throw to third, and the run scores. Boy, oh boy.
It's almost like South Carolina has a suffocating defense in football. They put you in a situation where you think you're going to, you know, you're in the driver's seat, and they just suck the life out of you.
Now Adrian Morales, who reached on an error earlier in the ball game and has a single. See if they want to do anything with Matthews at first. Everybody checking signs. Being flashed by Chad Holbrook down at third. Morales pops it up on the infield. Fontana will take it to third for the second out of the inning. Now Jake Williams, who saved it with his throw. Almost slipped out of Cody Dent's glove down at third. On the corner for a called strike.
This is your hero. We're not here without him. He doesn't throw the guy at the plate on Zanino's base hit.
Wait a minute. Wingo already got the play, so we wouldn't have even got to that play if it wasn't for Wingo.
This is hero 1A.
Yes.
I know that he knows that I know. We keep going.
Low it inside, 1-1. Two outs, a runner at first, and now South Carolina with a 2-1 lead. There's a called strike, 1-2. Swing and a miss with a runner going. The inning is over, but the damage is done. South Carolina with a base hit, a stolen base, and 2 errors has the lead 2-1. Let's check in with Sports Center. Scott Van Pelt and Steve Levy. Gentlemen. Welcome back to Omaha and what has been a great pitchers duel. 2-1. South Carolina over Florida. We go to the bottom of the 11th. The second-seeded Gators will have to get it done against this man, Matt Price. 18 saves this year. He has 4 career wins in the College World Series out of the bullpen. Nobody has ever had more. This is his 35th appearance, and this is what he did on Friday night against Virginia. 95 pitches in 5 2/3. No runs. He did walk 5, but he fanned 5 and was brilliant when he had to be. And on 2 days rest, this is like a starter coming back on 2 days rest. You throw 95 pitches.
This is coming in for like your side work where the starter after you bombed and they had to go through the whole bullpen and they ask you to put your spikes on and don't take your side work in between starts yet because we might need you to finish off the bullpen. And he's doing it, going for his 19th save.
They said he could be available for an inning. We'll ask him how he feels. Well, you have the feeling if you can go out and throw 95 pitches as the closer, you're going to tell him, hey, I can go out and throw a couple tonight.
Well, I think anytime we ask Ray Tanner, is this guy available, is that guy available, he looks at it and goes, I don't know, I'm going to ask him, but there's not one kid that he's ever talked to that said no.
Here's Brian Johnson with a couple of hits tonight, now hitting .307. Against Price, and this ball's hit in the air to straightaway right. Pretty good start to the inning, and you just have to wonder, is Price going to have his stuff after only 2 days rest?
That was a breaking ball. He left up a little bit. He's going to have to look for a double play, but I'll tell you what, Brian Johnson put a nice swing on this pitch. See, 82 miles an hour with a little hump in. It's kind of a little slider. Firms up that front side, and that's a nice solid Robin Ventura-esque swing.
I think that was a compliment.
You know what, well, I'm not used to it. That's why I'm speechless.
Paul Wilson will come on to run for Johnson. Was a pretty swing. That had to be a compliment. Adams squares to sacrifice, takes it outside. And there is nobody warming up for South Carolina, so Price is on to decide it one way or another.
He's probably good for a couple. It's the only way he can get a win.
That's right. He'd rather get the save right now. That pitch on the corner, called strike 1-1 to Adams. Thompson scheduled to hit next. Piggott after that.
See, this is on the corner. Every pitch counts now, and it might have been a little outside. K-Zone had a ball. The game can turn on anything now. Strike call, ball call.
Pulls the bat back and takes it 2-1.
That's interesting right there because the bunt is off.
Well, it's hard to lay off a pitch like that if you're squared around to bunt and you're going to slash at it. It's hard to hold off on a fastball that's a little bit up.
Squares and bunts to first.
Nice job, guys.
And they'll get the sacrifice working. The runner goes to second. Wilson, the pinch runner, now in a position to score on a base hit. He got his job done and sets it up for Thompson. Thompson has walked a couple of times, officially 0 for 2. Gators down 2-1. Fastball for a called strike. Well, he got that one up there at 94 miles an hour on our gun. 9 left on tonight, only 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Price, another fastball, fouled back.
And the 1 hit and the 1 for 7 runners in scoring position. They got the runner thrown out at home plate.
That's right.
Sac fly scored a non-hit scored their run.
That was Cody Dent delivering with a sacrifice fly. Oh, 2 to Thompson. Piggott would be next. One ball, 2 strikes.
And again, we got the outfield playing deep. Not only for fly balls, but protect an extra base hit to make sure that even if they tie it up, that they don't get a double to get the winning run on second.
A ball and 2 strikes from Matt Price.
I wouldn't play the outfield deep here. I'd play for the win. You're the team that supposedly is on the road because you're the visitor. You're ahead, and you got a guy on the mound that's your closer that doesn't have many pitches in his arm. Your bullpen's thin after him.
You would rather guard against the bloop single?
I'm playing for the win. Yeah, I'll give him the double in the gap. I'm playing to get the guy at the plate.
Jammed him and fouled it off.
Not a theory that was mine until this year when I started sitting next to Bobby Valentine. It convinced me that's the way to go. But I don't have enough time to go over the litany of all the reasons.
Go for the win.
Go for the win on the road, especially when you got your closer in the game.
Two and 2 to Tyler Thompson. And after a high fastball got a piece. Of course, we'll have game 2 of the NCAA College World Series tomorrow. Florida against defending national champion South Carolina. There would be tomorrow's starter for Carolina, the big left-hander Roth.
You talk about creating a culture. What he did last year as the closer to go as far as he did as a reliever. He's really set the tone for Price on the mound this year, a year later.
2-2 to Thompson. In the dirt, blocked by the catcher Berry. And now 3-2.
That's a great job right there by Berry. It's a tough pitch. He's going for the strikeout. And then he has the confidence that Berry's going to keep that in front of him. You can see this curveball in the dirt. He squares it up. It doesn't get too far away from him. Keeps Wilson at second base.
Fastball fouled away again. He's getting some good cuts at 94 and 95 mile an hour fastballs.
Yeah, I'm impressed with his location too. I mean, he's spotting balls. He still has the velocity, but you know, you would just think that his location would be off.
This will be the 9th pitch of this at bat. Struck him out on a high fastball. Thompson couldn't catch up to that one, and the Gators are down to their last out.
95 pitches, you get 2 days off. You go 94 up the ladder for a huge punch out. A lot of times you don't have that life in your arm when you come back with short rest and you think, I got to keep the ball down. I don't feel it. But he made a pitch and he had the velo behind it to beat him to the spot.
Well, that curveball he threw in the dirt set that pitch up, because you visually in your eyes, you see that pitch, and mechanically you know that that's in the back of your mind and that he still has it, so you can't totally commit. And this ball rides up on him, just elevates it enough where you can't get to it.
What is it to a hitter about that high fastball that's so enticing?
It's the easiest one to see. It's the hardest one to hit, but it's the easiest one to see. And especially after a guy drops a curveball on you, where the ball comes out high, when you see that fastball and it's flattened out, you think you can get to it, but with the velocity that Price has, you just can't get to it.
As a pitcher, you're trying to go in and out, but also up and down. Which bothered you the most as a hitter?
All of it. But you know, when they throw a curveball, your eyes go up and you see it, and it should come back in. But when you see the fastball, you just react to it, and it's hard to lay off the high one. The low one, you feel like you can't really get as much to, but the high one, you think you can get to it. But the velocity takes care of it.
Last call for the Gators. Daniel Piggott.
It's Piggott or Cody Dent, and you got a base open. I'm not sure they'll pitch around him, but they're going to make it awfully tough with pitchers' pitches if they're going after him.
He has been a terrific hitter all year long. He has had a big postseason and a big College World Series. But the last time up, he banged into a double play.
Just a little outside, and generous on that side of the plate. Some Gator fans at home yelling at their TV right now.
Runner at second, 2 outs. Hit towards short. Mooney. Got it. And South Carolina has won another in extra innings. That's their 15th straight NCAA tournament win and their 10th straight at the College World Series. Nobody has ever done more. They'll have a chance to break both of those records tomorrow night. And boy, do they come through in the clutch or what?
Well, Scott Wingo at second base. The pitching was outstanding. They've only given up 3 earned runs here at the College World Series.
And Price does it again out of the bullpen. Once again, our final score here in Omaha. South Carolina beats Florida 2-1. Stay tuned next on ESPNU for tonight's post-game coverage. Tomorrow night on ESPN at 8 Eastern, Game 2 of the finals from the College World Series. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now here's SportsCenter.